Hello and welcome to Dash 28 Live. I'm your host, Mike Atkins, and today we are bringing you another second round Call to Arms 5 match between Andrew Goodman and Kris DeGrow. They're going to be playing Dominate at 2,300 points, and I'd like to thank them both for being here and letting us stream their game. It's a little late in Australia and a little early on the East Coast, but with global tournaments like this, sometimes you play it at odd hours. So that's great. Thanks, guys. Also, I've got Thomas Anderson and Matt Carmack and Keith Conroy. Hopefully I'm getting everybody's name right. It's kind of early in the morning here. Joining me for commentary to help cover this match for you today. And so without further ado, let's take a look at the lists that you guys have brought. This is Call to Arms, so you guys do get your choice to kind of customize and tailor your army for the scenario and play at some different point levels if you want. And here in the second round, you guys have decided to go with the TO suggestion of playing 2,300 points. And so up first, these are Andrew's Abyssal Dwarves. Andrew, could you talk us through your list, please?
Sure. I've got two regiments of Black Souls who are standard infantry troops in the Abyssal Dwarf army. Nice, vicious, and good unit strength. Gargoyles, flying, chaffy goodness that if they're still alive at the end, Kris has done something very wrong. Lesser obsidian golems. People might just boo and hiss a little bit when they see one with a crystal pendant on it. One with a crystal pendant for Dominate. So you either kill it and kill or be killed or kill and be killed, as it works out sometimes. One with a Blessing of Gods and one standard rocks. Grotesques, which are kind of my favourite unit in the Abyssal Dwarf army. Boots to run over that hill run over that obstacle at some point in the game that's sitting in front of them. Two heavy mortars. They've taken a hit with 3rd edition, but they're still valuable tools to deal a bit of damage from a distance and make people come towards you. Hexcaster, once again, increased in points to do what he used to do for 70 points. He now does it for 90 points, but that weakness spell is gold, especially with defense 6 around the place. And to plink off wounds. Ironcaster to give some leadership to those lovely rocks in the center of that Dominate area. And some Surge. He swapped his Fireball for Surge for free and taken the Shroud so that we can get a little bit of extra healing on those Hellforged units, of which there's a few in my army. Abyssal Halfbreed Champion, the general can opener, jack of all trades, Swiss Army knife. He's very helpful to support those grotesques and ground flyers and do all those sorts of good things. And just ignore the last deployment. Doesn't really mean anything. Nobody needs to know anything about the Overmaster with the Halfbreed with the Blade of Slashing. Just ignore him, Kris. Pretend he's not there.
You forget to move him, I'll ignore him.
Yeah. I'll just
All right, that's going to be 14 drops at 21 unit strength, which I think is right about where lists seem to be these days at this point level. Cool. So now let's pop over and take a look at Kris's Empire of Dust. Kris, could you walk us through your list, please?
Sure. Start with a troop of Deadeye crossbows, looking for a small chaffy unit that can do something, hoping for damage, maybe take out a cannon or something. 2 troops and a regiment of Revenant Cavalry. The troops are a little more expensive now, but they're still great chaff. And sometimes they do a little damage in a flank or a rear. And then the regiment is just kind of a nice solid push pin, put things in place. Revenant Chariots are kind of a newer addition for me. since they are no longer irregular, with boots of striding to try and project some threat, and then a little bit of plink shooting to punish if you don't move into their charge range. And 2 units of enslaved guardians, just vanilla, the monolith, although I'm very distressed to learn now that it can't move at the double and surge. I'll have to learn how to deal with that. Soul Snare is second ranged option, or is third. Revenant Champion with the Tomb of Darkness for some extra surge. Put him on a horse so he can keep up with the cavalry, and sometimes you can take on a war machine or pin something in place for a turn. And then I've got a Cursed High Priest on a horse with surge and drain life, helping to help things get into position and then find his own spot and just drain away. Revenant King on Flying Worm. It's got a little more expensive and a little less nerve, but it's still just a great flying bus. Put Hans on there to double the life leech so it can move and stick things in combat for a while. And then Idol of Shobik. I guess I had to bring my own rock to counter his.
All right, great. That's going to be coming in at 13 drops and 19 unit strength, so just a touch less, but not really that much. It's a pretty even matchup in that regard. All right, thanks, guys, for walking us through that. Now let's pop over and take a look at your UB room and see how you guys are deployed. So this is the standard terrain map for the second round of Universal Battle. For anybody that hasn't taken a look at it yet, there's some fun stuff going on here. So first, that road that kind of wraps around the top left is purely decorative. It doesn't actually have any bearing on the match. The last game that we did, the players treated that little garden, that little walled garden area in front of the large building on the left as being part of the impassable terrain. Are you guys doing that as well?
We are doing that as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's also what looks like an L-shaped obstacle right in the middle of that cluster of fields. Are you guys treating that as an obstacle?
We are.
Okay, cool. And then everything else is pretty standard, forests and hills. And you guys have dropped a tombstone there in the middle to indicate the center point since you're playing Dominate. And otherwise, that's pretty much the field. So you guys have already deployed, and Kris is up on the top, and Andrew's down on the bottom. So Kris, could you walk us through your deployment, please, starting over here on the left side?
Sure. So with the chariots, with the J-boots top left, just kind of threatening that space in the fields and with the obstacle. Then the Revenant Champion is there to inspire and surge that flank. And he's tucked in behind my first Revenant Cav troop unit. And moving over behind the house, there's the Revenant King on Undead Flying Worm, kind of forming the left battle group. Then moving towards the center, we've got Enslaved Guardians, the Idol of Shobik, and Enslaved Guardians. That's kind of my main battle line, backed up by the Monolith. And then over tucked behind the hill, we've got the Soul Snare and the Deadeye Crossbows facing off against his Hexcaster and one of his mortars. And then if we move far to the right, there's a Revenant Cavalry troop, the Cursed High Priest with the Surge and Drain Life, and then a Revenant Cavalry regiment over there facing off against his dragon and some of his chaff.
All right, great. And then Andrew, could you walk us through your deployment, please, starting over here on the left?
Sure. So you've got gargoyles there right up in the front of the line, and behind them, one of the heavy mortars. You've got grotesques with the J boots as the next unit along, and jockeying along beside is the individual, which is the half-breed champ. Behind them is the first of the Black Soul units. In the next unit in line is the standard rock with no additions to them. Next unit across in the center is the rocks with the pendant, with the Hexcast, not the Hexcast, the Ironcaster behind them, giving leadership to all the things it needs to give leadership to. Another cannon, which happens to be on the hill. Hill in the deployment zone. It's very unusual to see for a Abyssal Dwarf player with a cannon. It's just too good a choice. You could tell that I won the roll for sides, perhaps. Hexcaster tucked in next to him, and the third unit of rocks. Those are the ones with the blessing of the gods. Next unit across is another unit of Black Souls. They've got their tail end on an obstacle there, but there was nothing I could do about that. King, I always think of him as the king, is the overmaster on the giant half-breed thingy flying what's-it. All those technical terms with the blade of slashing, and then another unit of gargoyles out to the right.
All right, great. Thanks for walking us through that, guys. Have any questions for any of the commentators on their deployment, or are we ready to get started? All right, cool. So good luck, guys. Have fun. We'll be watching over your shoulders here as you play, and we will see you back here when you're done.
Sounds good.
Good luck.
Waiting for them to leave so we can start talking about them.
I was about to say, I'm waiting for them to get out of the room so then I can start tossing the shade.
Yeah. All right. How do I leave?
There's a button at the bottom. It says Leave Studio. It's in the middle on the bottom of the screen. Yeah.
There we go.
There it is.
Okay.
All right. Now I can start talking trash.
Yeah, it's Empire of Dust. Let's hear it, Matt.
Oh,
you know all
man.
about this stuff.
I'm so psyched to being able to cast an Empire of Dust game.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just start with that. And he's taken 3 of the 4 possible freaking characters as well, which I mean is pretty standard these days. You just kind of have to. It's the strong point, and like you can see it too. Look at his list compared to the dwarf list. Like he's so thin. Like you've got troop, as opposed to horde. Like so expensive to take units in Empire of Dust.
There's a deceptive amount of shooting in this Empire of Dust list between the Drain Life, the awesome,
chariots.
The chariots, the sharpshooters. He's going to move them onto the hill, so it'll be interesting to see if Andrew targets the sharpshooters first, or if he takes the bait and goes for something else, because that'll screen that soul snare and keep it from being shot.
I do like the troop of Deadeye crossbows in front of the soul snare. I think that's a good choice because it just means the soul snare is never getting charged ever. And it's a good unit that's not wasted points. Like normally I like taking like a regiment of scarabs because then the soul snare just gets free shots for the entire game over the scarabs. But I think the Deadeye troop actually is better in this case because he's gonna get use out of that. Whereas the scarabs are a 60-point upgrade for the soul snare. In this case, it is a 100-point actual unit. I don't like the chariots in this spot. I don't know why they're on the left side and not on the right side. Because he's going to throw fits over that building.
Yeah, a popular thing that people have been doing is to put flyers behind that building, right? To kind of be cheeky and fly over 10 inches if you can get the right angle and go in. But it doesn't seem like any of them went for it.
Right.
At least Andrew didn't.
Yeah, I do think that's probably why Kris deployed his Revenant King facing that way to cover that.
Right.
Good choice.
So I believe that is going to be Empire of Dust going first.
All right.
Yep. All right, so top of turn 1.
Top of turn 1. Target priority for shooting. What is he going to try to shoot? Cannons, we think?
Probably cannons, because he doesn't really have a War Machine Hunter. And, you know, like Andrew was saying, they lost a little bit, but they're still really potent. I don't know. What do you think, Matt?
Well, I'm looking here at what he's going to be able to actually hit with the soul snares. That trick.
Yeah, he'll have to get a good angle. Excuse me. so that he can't get shot, but he can still target something else.
Right.
Maybe the black souls on the bottom right. I think another deceptive part of his list is taking a look at his dragon, and we'll see if Andrew thinks, is this going to be a combat unit? And the answer is no. This is a giant flying anvil that's going to hold up his lines for way too long while Kris gets really good surge positions. Because Life Leech 2, dash 18 now? Dash 19?
Yeah, dash 18.
Dash 18, and with the defense 5, I mean, that thing just does not go anywhere. And so if he can negate the heal support that Iron Caster gives, I mean, he's going to win the heal and grind battle for sure.
I mean, the flip side of that is the Overmaster is effectively the same piece on the other side of the board, facing two Rev Cabinet units. If he goes in the forest, those Rev Cav units will never kill that Overmaster. like they don't do damage. They're great tanking units, but they're terrible damage dealers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Kris doesn't have any really super punchy units. I guess he's got the Enslaved Guardians.
Yeah. I would call the Enslaved Guardians punchy units, for sure.
Yeah. But the rest of his army's kind of tanky, kind of grinding.
Oh, there he goes with the dragon, trying to go for a cheeky hop over, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was clearly covering in case Andrew put something over there to jump over and threaten, but I think he's just not really scared of those gargoyles, and getting that dragon in a position on the flank there this early will be, I think really helpful for him, especially if like he just moves out and next turn he can jump over and then line up on that cannon to take care of it before it hits anything.
Mm-hmm. Right. And other than the half-breed, the golems are too far away to be surged, and there's too many other units in the way.
Yep. Nice aggressive moves on the left here from Kris early on.
Thomas, I don't know if you've been saying anything. You're muted right now. I don't know if you can hear us. Yeah.
Might have a little bit of lag.
Okay. I want to make sure that we weren't talking over you or ignoring you. Like, nobody's taking in my account. No one's listening to my opinions.
I'm just biding my time.
Come in with the breaking news.
Let it unfold.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is kind of interesting. There's a hill in the bottom deployment zone, and everybody that I've talked to about this map has said like this is a very War Machine friendly map because it's very open in the middle, and you've got those hills. But 3, 6, 9, 12. Putting something that has indirect and can't shoot anything within 12 inches up on the hill might not be a great idea, because if you can get to the middle, you're too close for it to shoot at you anymore. I kind of felt like I kind of expected to see Andrew like kind of put one on each side, like one in the forest and one over behind the building. So I feel like the hill's a little bit of a trap in this case. Like he probably shouldn't have put it there.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. I think like the map is definitely War Machine favored just with the amount of space for sure. But I agree that the hill is a trap in this instance. Like I would have expected the War Machine in the forest, if anything.
Yeah.
One, just because it makes it more difficult to remove. Like throwing that this character, this Rev Cav champ with the Surge 4, I take that character all the time with that exact build. He is my least favorite thing in my list every single time. He never hits anything. He never gets his 1-inch surges off. And in this case, if the cannon was in the forest, I wouldn't even bother charging the cannon with him because he would miss. 12 attacks on 4s. Whoa.
It's interesting. He's going to shoot the grotesques.
Yep. Got a couple of wounds on them.
Okay.
Now I think that's his crossbows.
Yeah.
Shooting at the character? Shooting at the...
Looks like the war engine at the mortar, I think. One wound to them, maybe?
No.
Looks like he missed his wound.
I think he was shooting at the Hexcaster.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, so
Gargoyles
on to
going
Andrew's
into
turn.
RevCav.
All right.
Interesting. Very aggressive.
Very
Yeah.
aggressive.
I think
Yes,
I would have moved him over to block that hop over, unless he's got another plan for that.
I mean, my concern here is that Kris might just, if it depends. So the danger of the RevCav is that they'll eat the gargoyles. It'll take them a while. Like as long as they get the hits, they'll win that combat.
Right.
But they got to get the hits first. Like hitting on 4s is a thing. So he's gonna, assuming the gargoyles get 1 wound in here, he's gonna be 4s and 3s. So he just needs 1 or 2 wounds, but like that's what he's expecting to get.
Yeah.
In a good roll.
There's a regen roll on the grotesques getting neither. And to remind everyone watching at home, that road is not an actual piece of terrain, so those gargoyles are not hindered.
Yeah. I mean, he can guarantee it if he threw the chariots in there as well. Yeah. But then the issue is that the chariots are exposed to the grotesques.
Exactly. Yeah, so I think Andrew's kind of trying to bottle up the chariots in between those 2 buildings for as long as he can.
Yeah. Again, this is why I just do not like the chariots on that side of the board. I would have put them in the forest on the other side all day, especially since he gave them J-boots. They're just kind of like I love talking about the Chariot Legion and just the base size and how it's not actually that unmaneuverable as people think it is. But when you put it in between 2 giant pieces of impassable like that, you're just asking to get yourself screwed. Like that's not the greatest spot for a that base size.
Sure.
That said, and again, this is that poor character, that poor RevCav champ. If he was a Revenant King and he hit on 3s, I'd be like, oh, he charged those grotesques and just stall them up while everything comes into play. But no, he hits on 4s, guys. He can't do that. He's not mighty. He's gonna charge in those grotesques. He's gonna miss every single attack.
Yeah,
folks, you heard it here first. The Matt Kamak seal of approval, Empire of Dust, insider information. It is not getting a wounded through.
Yeah, because it would be hindered. So we're talking 4 attacks on 5s.
Yep, 5s and 4s.
5s and 4s. Yikes. That's not good odds.
Yep.
That is not good odds. So this is the first Empire of Dust list I've seen post the new Clash of Kings changes, and presto, we have chariots all of a sudden. Like nobody took chariots before. Do you feel like this is closer to what people might be thinking of taking with Empire of Dust now that chariots aren't irregular anymore? Like, do we think this is going to be a more standard kind of build?
Are you asking me?
Sure. Well, I don't have an opinion.
No, it's you and Devlin. Who else are you going to ask?
Right. And Devlin's busy. Devlin's probably busy nursing his hangover before his first game at the Forge, so I probably can't bother him right now.
Yeah, to go up against the 3rd shooting list.
The 3rd shooting span list. He's just a lightning rod, that poor guy.
First round of Masters. Oh man, poor guy.
I don't think this list is particularly different from what I would expect. Because like a Legion of Chariots, I think was good even before they were regular again. I think a Legion was in fact the only way to run it if you were going to run chariots before they made them regular again. I think there's still a ways to go before they're competitive good. I think that they're definitely in a better, I mean, obviously they're in a better spot now that you can actually take them. But I think realistically what you would see for people who just want to run them is instead of seeing these Revenant regiments over here, with like the Revenant Cav, you see a Chariot regiment instead. So you get a couple bow shots instead of the extra defense and attacks. For a little bit of a discount. For 30 points less, you get 6 range shots, but you lose 4 attacks on melee. Because defense 4 is such a big difference from defense 5, I still don't expect to see a lot of people doing that right away. If at all, because a lot of people like just don't like the lower defense and nerve on chariots. For some reason, people think defense for -16 is bad, and they're wrong. But it's gonna take. I mean, again, it's kind of an all or nothing thing right now, and I still think even the taking all of them, like if you were to literally just dunk 5 units of chariots on the board, like I am accustomed to doing, I still don't think that works just yet. I think you're better off still just taking nothing but RevCap if you want to do something that's just really, really fast EOD.
Mike, can you check the range between the top right RevCav and the gargoyles on the bottom?
That's a good call.
Are they in 16 or are they?
I think it looks like he's just out. Looks like he's left them just out.
Yeah.
Of that 16-inch line there.
That's a juicy surge, though. If he can get that in with the monolith and with the other surge.
With the Cursed High Priest and monolith.
Yeah. Oof. Then he's facing the entire flank.
Which is really where he wants to be.
Yeah.
Shows how often I take the monolith. Monolith is surge 10 or 8. I know it's a guaranteed surge, which is nice.
Let me look. Monolith is surge 8.
Surge 8. Yeah. So he's going to get 16 surge, but 1 with a reroll. That's a bit dicey, but
yeah.
The downside is if he misses it, he's probably giving a flank to that dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe the troop would be a little bit closer, and he would do that instead.
Yeah. This is the forever downside of trying to do the long surges is yeah, that's averages, right? He should get it, but what if he doesn't?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
Orange
one mortar hit against the enslaved guardians in the middle. Picks up 1 on the vicious roll, so that's going to be 4 wounds. 5 counting shattering, but that should still be plenty for them for the first round.
Nice.
The first one hit shooting at the crossbows. And now the Hexcaster.
Well, if he doesn't do more wounds here, then he just gets a free one back.
True.
I do really like Shobek with Enslaved Guardians. It just makes them so much more tough.
Yeah, and you're backed by the Soul Snare too, so
yeah,
those wounds they're going away.
Oh, that's right. He only did 2 wounds because they lost a piercing, so they don't wound on 2s anymore. Looky there.
Yep.
Thank you, Rules Committee, wherever you are.
Right.
Oh, he made him weak too.
Made him weak.
You. I mean, the downside of the Enslaved Guardians here is like they're a really good unit. They are my. If you're gonna do EOD and you want like a really easy just drop units into your list to win, you just take a whole chunk of Enslaved Guardians.
Yeah.
The issue here is that he's facing 2 Enslaved Guardians as his only punch units versus 4 really nasty Abyssal Dwarf units. You've got the 3 Golem units and the half-breeds.
And 1 with the Crystal Pendant. That's going to be an interesting time.
And 1 with the Crystal Pendant.
And it looks like the Gargoyles did power through 1 wound on the RevCav troop.
Okay.
They did exactly what they needed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, shooting priority. I've had the opportunity to play against this list before with Kris. We've done some PBM practice games, and shooting priority for me. And anytime I take shooting, which isn't very often, but trying to get rid of the Soul Snare and those Dead Eyes may come back to haunt him, because while it's nice to put a couple wounds on the Guardians, like we know that they'll be back. He's got to try to remove entire units, get rid of screening, get rid of unit strength. And I don't think a couple wounds on the Enslaved Guardians, knowing that there's Drain Life 9 right next to it, is really going to amount to much. And they weren't going to charge this turn anyway. So
if anything, I think, and it depends on how far his Soul Snare is from the Gargoyles on the right-hand side, that's how I think he picks up that unit.
Oh, good call. It would be 23 inches would be the threat range. Move
Correct.
5, Drain Life 18.
Well, potentially, I'd have to double check again. Does it shamble?
The Soul Snare?
Yeah.
It does not.
So we can't push it.
Darn you, Rules Committee. Ruining Matt's hopes and dreams.
That unit's good enough as it is.
I'm
not disappointed that it
150
can't search.
150 points. It's wonderful.
And they nerfed it down to drain 9 instead of 10. Woo!
Woo! take that.
Yeah, still
That's
a fantastic unit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember when it had Lightning Bolt 6 and Heal 4, and it's just
Yep.
like, oh, but you take the monolith to give it 2 extra on both those spells, and it's like, well, you spend 90 points to do that.
Yep. All right, so he did move the half-breed in the bottom to try to cover for that inevitable dragon hopping.
Yep. Over here.
So we'll see how long that can last.
Yep. Half-breed champs are really good.
Yes, they are.
How tall is the building?
9.
Let me check the pack.
Are they playing it at 6 or are they playing it at 5 to where he can see over it?
I think it's height 9 buildings, right?
I think it's at least 6, and it's probably
Yeah. So he's having to spend a turn jumping over it at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's also angled the Black Soul Regiment just slightly here. So if he doesn't go all 20 inches, he's going to have to fight that and the half-breed champion with a hitting on Forest Dragon. Like, it's a tank dragon, but not a killy dragon.
No.
And because half-breed champions are so ridiculous, I wouldn't be surprised to see the half-breed actually power through that.
Given enough turns, and it's only turn 2.
Sure.
Yep. They're getting into it fast.
Yeah.
They are.
A life leech too. I mean, that can hold up. You have to see if it's worth it to keep 1 unit strength of flying dragon, keeping out a half-breed and Black Souls regiment.
Yep.
See which one wins. Clash of the Titans.
Yep. All right, so here, top of turn 2, we've seen both these guys make their opening moves. So we can kind of see how their strategies are developing. If you're Kris here in turn 2, what do you need to get done? Like what needs to happen for you?
He needs to pick up those gargoyles.
Yep.
Like all of them.
Yeah, but I mean both for sure. He definitely needs to deal with the ones on the right because otherwise he's basically going to lose his RevCav regiment for potentially the entire game. And on the flip side of that, he's already moved on I guess he hasn't moved on the left. I'm just thinking about he can't double charge with his RevCav champion in his RevCav because he can't see the gargoyles. I'm just waiting for him to try to do the RevCav champion into the half-breeds, but I'm hoping he won't make that mistake.
Yeah. Him not being mighty makes that turn that plan way too iffy.
I also think he needs to get some speed on the right flank. I would just push Ting forwards and see if I can go the Overmaster and the Gargoyle to charge. And hopefully grind them down over time.
Oh, he did jump over. Oh, wow.
In turn 5 or 6 into the center.
Okay, he found an angle where he could go all the way, pivot, leave the half-breed in the front, or is that the flank?
He could turn the half-breed to put it in the front.
Okay, so only the half-breed, and then the will go in the first turn.
Yeah.
So that's another big one.
Front.
Will turning the half-breed put him into the difficult terrain for a hindered charge? That's going to be interesting. I know he's right up against it. It's hard to see from here, but that could make a big difference.
If he does the half-breed in the front, then he probably disengages and pops the cannon. Would be my guess.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Looks like he's gone on to shooting and left the gargoyles all the way on the right unchallenged.
Looks like he's setting up a trap and trying to bait him into a hindered charge, which will be interesting to see who wins that grind. But I think with the drain life on the right, I think those RevCav do eventually take out that Overmaster, which is effectively pinned, unless he put the Soul Snare within 20.
Yeah, but the issue here is that like Kris kind of wants his RevCav on the right flank there to turn to threaten the middle, and the longer Andrew holds them up over there, the longer he can own the middle and potentially come out ahead on the grind. Like he's got more tank in the middle than Kris has punch, I think.
I was going to say the issue here is that Yeah, he needs more stuff to get. Like I talked about the COD list looking thin.
Mm-hmm.
The COD list, I mean, effectively has 5 combat units, and saying 5 is generous because I'm saying that for a RevCav regiment and a Chariot Legion as combat units. Because the second they get punched, they lose basically almost all their effectiveness.
Looks like he just rolled cover. They had the dice off something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think maybe they've forgotten that flat terrain counts as cover if you're in it, and they were checking for line of sight cover.
Mm-hmm.
But it did come out 4 up, so they did count it as cover, which it should have been anyway. So it all came out right in the end.
You can
All
waiver them.
You can waiver them. All right, looks like he's now shooting at the war machine with his crossbows. 4 hits. That's
Wow.
Shoot.
Make that 5 with elite. Nope, just 4.
The grotesques are not an arc of that enslaved guardian unit, right? Or sorry, the other way around.
Looks like, yeah, just out.
I don't think so.
Okay. Whew.
That was
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just like,
Nice.
ooh, that could be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The Soul Snare elects to do 2 wounds to the Black Soul Regiment so that it can heal those enslaved guardians in the middle.
There
For a
they are.
slightly softer target than the Defense 6 Obsidian Golems.
Yeah. I do like. I mean, he's put himself with that enslaved guardian unit just out of range of everything that could charge it.
Is that a waiver on the
I think
mortar?
that's going to be a waiver, yeah.
Okay, that's big.
Let me double check that.
Yep.
They are 10-12, yep.
Yep.
So that's going to be a waiver.
Go Deadeyes.
Pretty
MVP
good.
of this game.
Yeah, really.
Range 5, elite, piercing 1. It's good stuff.
Once again, I have occasion to throw up that banner.
All right,
There it
RevCav.
OP Expos.
Show us why you deserved a
So do we
ridiculously
think he's gonna pick up
expensive nerf.
gargoyles, or
Sorry, what
I
was that,
think
Thomas?
he put 2 wounds on him, so that's not terrible.
I
Looks
was
like
just talking
wavered.
about the gargoyles.
Like waiver them.
Do you think you'll pick him
Yeah.
up? I don't think so. It is not.
Yeah, it's a waiver. Okay.
I would agree that I do not think he picks them up, and that is in fact what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So his chariots stay bottled up for another turn.
Yep.
Yep.
Did Andrew take his regen rolls on the grotesques last round?
He did. He rolled 2 4s.
Gotcha. That would totally be the kind of roll that I would forget.
Right.
Oh man.
All right, moving into the bottom of turn 2. So one wavered mortar and another now threatened. So of course that half-breed's now got to go in down here in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess he's doing the flank, or is he trying to do the front backward? I was going to say he can just go the other direction.
Right.
Yeah. I think he's trying to do what Keith was talking about. He was trying to go in
He's
without.
trying to avoid being hindered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did just nick that terrain. I don't know if they'll count it because it's green and it kind of blends in.
Yeah, that'll be a
Something like
super
that.
close one.
So we'll see.
But I do think that he picks up that cannon and then grinds it
Yeah.
out with the Black Souls and the half-breed for the rest of the game.
Yeah. Which isn't a terrible thing, because if he
No.
can...
Getting rid of that second cannon will mean that he gets the drain life dominance for as long as he wants, and I think that might tip the scales later on.
Yeah.
When it comes down to the grind.
And if you're
Drain
keeping
life
that unit
9.
strength, unit strength 2 or 3 units bottled up. In the corner?
Unit strength 3. Yep, the
Unit
Black
strength
Souls
3
are 3.
to unit strength 1 when your opponent is up like 2 unit strength on you in the game. Like
Yeah.
that's not a terrible trade-off.
Sure. And with
It
Life
also-
Leech too.
Yeah.
The big thing for me here is that frees up these enslaved guardians a lot more. In fact, I'm really curious to see what he does with these grotesques here, because with the monolith in play, having that ridiculously, basically infinite surge range, as well as the 4 surge champion, he could try to do a surge into the flank of the half-breeds, and hitting on 3s down to 4s with 36 attacks at that point, I'd do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with 3 wounds on him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the problem with the golems, like, they don't, the infinite crisis of hitting on 4s.
Yes.
And
Just
terrain.
when you need it.
Right.
Yep. It'll
So-
always kick you in the butt. Matt,
Yep.
you're our individual expert. Is the half-breed going to do a wound to this dragon? Or is this dragon going to take rears and flanks at will?
Oh, the half-breed? The half-breed will do it just fine. Yeah, it's the cursed high priest sucks. The half-breed's freaking amazing. They're the polar opposite of that scale. What is it? 7 attacks with Crush 3 and Vicious, or something ridiculous like that, or at least Crush 2 and Vicious.
Six
and 2.
attacks on 3, yeah, with Crushing 2 and Vicious. So
145 points. It's wonderful.
Yeah, no, he will.
So good.
He will most certainly do a wound. If not, he will probably do 3 or 4.
It's too early to start betting shots, right, Matt?
Oh,
We've done that once before.
it's
One
yeah.
Andrew has a good chance of stealing the initiative here. If you like push up,
Trying to push up into the center.
it was like push-ups with all the golems and the black souls and the ore master charge to flank up the dead eyes, and the grotesques are also free now to turn towards the center.
And hopefully he does that, because
5
otherwise
combat
he's getting
units
guardians in the
against
flank.
3 in the center.
Yeah, I was about to say the issue here being he doesn't have quite enough surge to get both guardian units in the flanks there.
Right. I do think that Andrew has done a pretty good job. I know times I played Empire of Dust, I'm like, here, have a flank. I didn't see that coming. Why not? Just flank everything that I own. And he seems like with the golems in the middle, and if he turns the grotesques too, he's done a pretty good job of negating those advantageous flank charges.
Right.
With surge, which it's hard to do.
I mean, I think he can still get flanks on that center guardian on the center golem unit. The issue is that if he doesn't get rid of it, then he's screwed.
Yes.
And
Yes, he is.
and we shouldn't
Defense-
forget he's also sitting on Surge 8 there in the middle to surge his golems as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he might
Exactly.
be out with the. If I were him, I probably would have moved that Rev King, the one in the top right, a little bit closer, probably behind the troop, because right now I don't think it can affect anything in the middle. Okay, so he's chaffing up.
I will
Yeah,
say
not
this
the
though, because this was my biggest issue with the golems specifically as a unit. The second you stick something into their front, they can't be surged effectively. Like, that's what they're fighting. He could still do corkscrews, but he can't surge
Right.
because he can't clear an inch before needing to get that push. So if he sticks 2 units in front of them, I'm trying to look at how that would turn out here. The big thing is if he doesn't pop that center unit, he would just be in such big problems.
Yeah, he doesn't have the combat units, like you were saying, to start trading units in the middle.
Right. If anything, I think Shobek goes into the right-hand side unit here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that Black Soul unit just fucking came out of nowhere.
Speedy Gonzalez over there.
I don't think that was a good idea, because I think he can eat the Black Souls.
And then turn to face along the flank and
Yep.
force the golems to either go into him or eat a flank. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see where he's coming from, right? Because if you're just sitting back and getting shot, it's kind of demoralizing. So you think like, look, I need to move this unit forward.
Right.
Sometimes that's not always the good play, even if it means sitting there and getting shot.
I don't think you need to move that far forward. Like, I am
think-
with you. You go forward.
Mhm. I think that's probably a reaction to that middle cannon getting wavered, because I think now he's looking at getting more crossbow shots and getting more drain life, and knows that he needs to pressure that little shooting base on the hill. And he kind of has nothing else to do it because he just committed his whole rest of the right flank to the Rev Cav in the woods, and they're going to be there for at least a turn. So I feel like he's got to push them up. Even though it's not a great idea, he's got to pressure with something, and it's all he's got over there.
I mean, I agree with that, except for there's a unit of Guardians that's within easy surge distance.
Yes.
Sure.
240 points. That is a solid little shooting battery for the Empire of Dust on the hill.
Yep. And on top of that, he could get this Cursed High Priest, could get within 12, probably. I'm just seeing how safe that surge would be, because 6 inches puts him, looks like a 4-inch surge at that point, which is already...
Would he be able to see them over the hill, though? Like, can he get somewhere we can have line of sight?
Well, the monolith surges first, no matter what.
Oh, you're right.
Which is the issue. So he would probably push him to where he could get line of sight from across that little fence.
Right. All right. No regen on the wavered gargoyles, it looks like.
Oh, that's big. Okay.
Yep.
He chose to withdraw them.
They're still effectively being a wall. So. Because now, instead of a fresh charge, the Rev Cav troop will do a hindered charge to hit them again because they backed up into the field.
Yep. Effectively.
Which means if you really want to be sure to get rid of them, now you have to send the chariots in as well.
Yeah.
Which is what he's been wanting him to do. But he has turned the grotesque towards the center.
I think in this turn, he does charge both the troop and the chariots. I think he puts them in and starts threatening down that flank.
Okay, there we go. Now he's angled them a little more.
I got one region on the grotesques. I think he just does the troop. I think he keeps the chariots out one more turn. I think he uses this opportunity to move the chariots forward for sure. But I think he just does the troop because he should do 2 wounds at that point. Heck, if he really wants to, he might be able to see him with the Deadeyes too. So he could pop some shots from the Deadeyes and then surge the troop in just for shits and grins with the...
Just to make sure they go away, yeah.
Right.
They are
he should do 2 wounds, and they're only 8-10. Like, they're super flimsy. And this is turn, what, 2?
3.
3? Yeah, so he's got time to get the chariots into play. And again, the real trick here is that the chariots just need to be a threat to the grotesque more than anything else. They don't actually need to... they're not doing jack to the golems. That's the bottom line.
Sir.
So he pops the gargoyles. The Rev Cav troop are still there. That forces the grotesques to charge them instead of something else. If he wants to bring a golem unit into them as well, then woo. And the greatest irony of it all is that the grotesque still probably don't kill that troop in one go because Rev Cav troops are amazing.
I need a soundbite, a little clip of you saying woo in that sarcastic manner for every time I fail hit rolls or roll a double ones. Woo. I really like the positioning that Kris did on the top because it looks like if he does not, or even if he does break that troop, it looks like the Rev could maybe sneakily back up and then maybe surge in or even get a charge, depending on if he gets greedy and tries to face towards the middle. So definitely some experience there of getting just the right angles to be like, well, you have to face me, and then I'm accomplishing my objective of keeping you out of the middle for another turn.
Right.
Otherwise, you're going to get charged in the rear or the flank.
Looks like the cannon on the left was going after the Rev Cav troop on the left and missed. Now we're on to the Hexcaster. Once again, shooting at the enslaved guardians in the center.
Looks like he missed.
He did. That is going to be a...
That's big.
Hexcaster missed too. Oh wow.
Yeah. No weakness on critical units that need to be weakened.
Oh geez.
Going into turn 3. Yeah.
Where's my opponent from last game, Ed Herdzig? Because that was a big moment too. Missing weakness on 3 dice. I mean, it just happens.
Yep.
All the Bane Chant 3 times I've tried to roll that with my mounted druids, and nope.
Oh, he only gets 2 wounds.
Only gets 2 wounds.
Okay, and they did not play that as hindered.
Hindered.
Like.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Not that it would have mattered.
Well, he normally hits on 3s, and he didn't hit on 3s any. So
Yeah.
Oh, see, the dice gods are they solve the problems for us.
Yeah.
Right. 4 up, you're in
Right.
cover. They're in cover. They didn't roll any 3s, so it's a very clean game, just according to happenstance.
Does pop a wound on the Rev Cav on the right, it looks like.
Nope. No, that was a misroll on how many hits he did. But he does do 1. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
On his reroll, he does do 1. All right. Now the Overmaster on the Rev Cav Troop, also hindered. He hits on 4s normally, right?
Yeah.
3s. He is still a real dragon. He just has 1 less attack.
Yeah, 9 attacks, 3s, and 4 wounds. 5
And
wounds.
5 wounds.
5 wounds. No
So-
brutals, so he's looking at a 9 twice.
9
That's
twice.
pretty once.
Oh, there's ones.
Uh-oh.
This will be
Uh-oh.
big.
Checking the math.
They're figuring out that it is in fact 9.
Yep. And that it is
5
inspired.
Yep. For all you viewer out there, this is the moment. Edge of your seat. Apparently not. Apparently we just had him accidentally drop out, probably due to internet.
Oh, okay.
So we'll have to be right back after commercial break.
Right.
It's the continued in the next episode
Right.
moment.
Do you
Will
think
he
there
get the
will be
reroll? Will it be
possibility
9?
for a corkscrew charge there on the order?
Yes.
Could he do a corkscrew? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he could.
Looks
On
like
the regiment?
I think so. I think if he backs up with that troop, I've played Kris, and I can't even tell you the amount of times that he lines those up perfectly. I think.
I
Oh
wouldn't even-
no! Snake eyes. Okay.
It's a fake
Yeah.
snake eyes. He needed a
Yeah.
9.
He did a 9, but he did roll the 9 once. So.
Right. And we're commentators, so we got to build it up as if it were.
That's right.
I think he just pops the gargoyles. I don't think he needs to. If anything, heck, I don't even know that he needs to countercharge there with the
Nope.
soul snare for heal. I think he just lets that dragon do whatever it wants. If it wants to fly over, who cares? He can just turn the troop around and surge it anyway.
I think that if he can get that flank charge and he can get a nice soul drain, there's a good chance. I mean, I know that they'll be hitting on 5s, but
Oh, I do not think he flank charges. I think he pops the gargoyle. If he can kill the gargoyles and then the next turn get the flank, he needs his thunderous back. Right now he's got no thunderous, so he's hitting on 5s and wounding on 5s.
5s and 5s
That's
with
true.
32 attacks. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't do a whole lot.
But if he can ground that dragon and then soul drain, that's going to be really big.
Yeah. I think he pops those black souls if he can get to them.
Sure.
That would be my thing here, because it throws that enslaved guardian unit so far to the flank too, to where now those golems are just way in the wrong spot, and enslaved guardians will ground out one of those golem units pretty efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one with Elite or Crystal Pendant, Mike? Which one is the far right?
Elite.
Elite. Okay. Yeah, I think even still with Elite.
I put the
I think
pendant
you're
one
right.
forward too.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So now we're on to top of turn 3.
Back in business. I will say these guys have played a great game so far. This is between the angles and the surge and the different flanks and stuff. I think they're putting on a really good job.
Yep. And I don't think anybody's lost a unit yet.
Nope.
Don't think.
My game versus
just a bunch
Reddit
of
was
wavered.
turn 4, I think, before we killed our first unit. Both got lucky that both of us were like, oh, in the shooting dominated map where there's no terrain in the middle, none of us took any shooting. He just had weakness 3 with the great Kapoka tree. That was it. That was the excitement of our game. Extent of our shooting. All right, so we'll see if the chariots go in, or if, as Matt predicts, the troop tries to prop the gargoyles. If he goes into the cannon with the dragon in the bottom right, bottom left, and then what he does in the top right, if he takes the flank or if he just grinds it.
Ooh.
Ooh, there's gonna be a lot of soul drain hitting the hitting that overlord.
Yeah. I was going to say, I hope he targets the Overlord and not the Gargoyles, because the Rev Cav should get rid of the Gargoyles.
Mm-hmm. He says hesitantly.
I say should because hitting on 4s is a trip.
It's true.
It's
just when you need it.
Sometimes you get it. Sometimes you just roll a bunch of 3s, and then you're just like, man.
Yep.
So I think hit on 4s.
I think he moved the Cursed High Priest up there so that it was out of Arc of the Overmaster, because he's betting that the Rev Cav doesn't do a wound in combat and ground it.
Yep. Because they probably won't.
What is this? Planning a turn in advance, not leaving your characters open to get charged? Like, who plays like this?
Jeez. He does go after the cannon.
Yep.
Good move.
Smart move there, yeah.
Now it's 10 on 4's trip, so 30, 15. And their defense. Okay, he's crushed 3, though, so he should be fine.
Sure.
Yeah. Those cannons are suspiciously tough because they're defense 5.
Yes. Yep.
Sometimes you throw a character into them like that, and you're just like, oh, that definitely gets rid of it. It's like,
Yep.
So. All right. Looks like maybe just the troop on the left is going into the gargoyles.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I think that's the right call here. Because the worst case scenario is that the troop doesn't kill them, and then they're still pinned.
Yep. Still pinned, and then the chariots get another round of shooting to soften up the grotesques.
Yeah.
Jeez, Matt, it's like you played Empire Dust before. What's going on?
But he does move the chariots up, which is important.
A
little bit.
Yeah, because the chariots were in the flank of the grotesques and certainly would not be able to fit anywhere over there. So he's at least got to move them up.
Yeah. He's double checking here for the size to make sure they can't get through. Yep. Mm-hmm. That would be bad.
That would be bad.
What would also be bad is if the Rev Cav troop does not do any wounds to the gargoyles.
Mm-hmm.
That would be bad.
Yeah. I would have still preferred to have pinged him with the Deadeyes first, just as a safety precaution.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably wanting to shoot at the cannon again, although I'm not sure he can even see it. No, I guess he can. His leader point's over here.
Yeah.
He'll probably draw a line of sight past it.
I think technically the golems are off the hill now too.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you're probably right.
Don't see over them. Get cover, so it'd be 6s, but he only needs to do 1 wound with elite to
get a waiver.
6 to waiver. Yeah.
And
that cannon can't back up anymore. It's either got to stay there or it doesn't contribute.
Right.
I'm still waiting for him to try and surge into the Black Souls, though. That's still my hope here, because he can't just let that unit go.
Nope.
Because he's not picking up the Overmaster this turn. He'll do some wounds, like he'll do some damage to the Overmaster with Soul Drain, but I don't think he kills it.
Right.
And if the Black Souls just get into his backline, especially like into the things that he really needs right now.
Here's phrases that you're never used to hearing. If the Dwarf Speed 4 Black Souls get into his back line, then
he can get to the crossbows. Yeah, he can get to the crossbows next turn. He can't quite get to the Rev Cav or the Soul Snare or anything like that. But
he's just out of the Soul Snare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with pot shot, I don't think he wants to move. I don't think he wants to move those Deadeyes, because all of a sudden 4 shots on 6s is significantly less scary. Oh, there we go. Okay, so he moves him forward.
What?
Okay.
Off the hill.
Out if that's okay, because
Thunderous.
Lots of lag spikes.
No.
To jump on the conversation.
Oh, sorry, Tom.
Yeah. It's nice to see you, though, Tom.
Okay, he's not doing that.
Yeah, I said I'm having huge lag spikes, so I think it's best for me to leave.
Alrighty. Well.
Yeah, sorry to hear that, Tom. It was nice to see you, though. Take care.
I'll just message you.
Because the crossbows are melee 6, so 16 attacks on 6s.
Yeah, it would be a cute move, but I don't think a good one.
No.
Hilarious, but not effective. Yeah.
Right. If anything, like you can back up the monolith like an inch here, and come on, man! I'm just waiting for it. I'm just waiting for that surge.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
It's just that, like the cursed high priest got moved the wrong direction to do it too, so I don't think he can do it anymore.
Yeah, unless he lets it take it back and try to go 8 inches to get line of sight.
Can he get? Are both golems in range of? Oh, he's 1 inch out. That would have been super good too. He has 1 inch between his enslaved guardians on the left and this golem unit on the right. And he could have double charged or even triple charged with Shobek there, potentially. Triple charge may have been hard to fit.
Yeah, that would have been rough.
Yeah, he has a lot of good options. We'll see which one he takes for this.
I guess he is going to do it. What is the plan here? Is he going to try to do both units? Because he's out of arc, right? I'm not just... Yeah, he's definitely out of arc of the center columns. I guess he's just going to throw them in the way just to block them.
Yeah, and still has the drain life advantage.
Yeah. Coming off the hill, he'll get Thunderous 1. Man, I'm actually tempted if he throws the Soul Drain into that unit.
Yeah, as long as he does a wound and forces a check. They are defense 5, 14, 16. So, it could happen. Oh, looks like, yep, he's moving the soul. He's keeping his eyes on the prize, so he wants to get that winged Overmaster.
I guess if he pops the gargoyles on the right, he could always bring, because I'm pretty sure they're within 16. Yes, so he could conceivably pop the gargoyles, and then he's got, it looks like he's already in the flank of the Black Souls.
Yeah.
So at that point, I think he just runs forward, because he'd safely be out of arc even if the Overmaster backs up an inch. And then he's got a good flank charge on those guys. He can pick up the regiment, because the benefit of the crossbows is Fearless 12, right?
Right.
Yep.
Fearless 11.
11.
Fearless 11, yeah.
I mean, still?
Mike, that's a good question, though, for later. Top of 3, not surging. I mean, I guess he still could. He hasn't moved them yet. But if he doesn't, why did he not surge?
It's a long surge. Ooh. I don't like this.
Unless Shobek's going into the front of the middle one.
He absolutely has to at this point.
Or even double charge the middle one. Shit, he might be trying to double charge the middle one then.
Yeah. If he doesn't, he has to charge it with something to stop a surge. He absolutely has to.
Can he get the other? Is he single charging?
Single charge wouldn't be terrible, except for the issue is that then he gets he may be sacrificing Shobek here.
No, I was thinking about it. Okay.
If he did a single charge with Shobek and then surge into the flank, assuming he can get to it, he's trying to see if he can do that.
Yeah, can't quite get far enough.
Yeah, nope. Looks a little out.
This is why... Oh, man.
Yeah, and this is These grotesques might be able to see Shobek's flank if he double charges.
Yeah. Shobek does not want to be in. Man.
Yeah.
I think Shobek may be in a spot where he just dies.
Okay, hold on. But on a single charge, I think he might be far enough up. Yeah, in the center, I think he's out of there. Once he gets all the way up there.
There's think this
another
is
phrase, Matt, we're never used to hearing. I think Shobek's gonna die. Like, what? What's going on in this game?
You'd be surprised how often Shobek gets thrown in as a chaff piece, just because he's. I mean, he's a very good chaff piece. Even 6-18, he'll stand up to stuff. But
so is that thick with 2 C's or 3 C's for thick chaff?
At that point, he's looking at probably all the C's.
All the C's.
All the C's.
Hot take.
Might have to add some more H's too.
Thick. I do like this though, because this keeps all the golems where they have to be honest. They can't do any sort of weird flank shenanigans. The only one I'd be concerned about is the center one backing up an inch and then doing a corkscrew potentially to the guardians on the right, but I think he should be safe.
Yeah. It does put all of them within 12 of the cannon, so it doesn't have to worry about it shooting any of them anymore.
Right. And then the benefit of this is that, well, the downside of this, I guess I should say, for Kris is that his guardians are now kind of stuck.
Yep.
Yes.
And I'm not certain that Shobek is out of line of sight of the grotesques. So he's going to hope to kill these gargoyles and walk his RevCab
in the way.
Block them off.
Yeah.
I think they might still be nicking it. But we're on to shooting.
Yeah. I think it's important, too, and probably a good play for Andrew that, 3 turns in and there haven't been any surge rolls, and now most of his units are in combat. So if you can get to the point where everything's in combat and your Empire of Dust opponent hasn't surged, you're doing well.
Yeah.
Looks like 3 hits from the chariots onto the grotesques.
Whoa.
Or is it just 2?
They're in cover.
2?
Oh, okay. He moved. That's what it is. Okay.
Nope, they don't care about moving anymore.
Yeah, that's steady aim.
They're in cover.
Okay, it's the cover. Oh, do they normally hit on 5s?
Yep. They're bad.
All right. So moving on to Drain Life over here. Looks like the Soul Snare only managed 2. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually correct. That's what you would expect.
True. But it's the 2 hits on 9 and then both of them converting. Looks a little wonky.
Yeah.
He
missed a lot, but realistically, even if he got all the hits, he was probably looking at 2 or 3.
Sure. 3 hits from the Cursed High Priest and 2 more wounds, I think.
That may be rerolls for Soul Drain, actually. Yeah, so it ends up being 2 wounds. Because he gets his special rule on other spells now. He's not terrible.
Wow. Okay. So 4 wounds total. And
he did target the gargoyles, which.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think he could have thrown that at the Overmaster, but I mean, this is another safety play to make sure the gargoyles go away.
Sure.
Yep. All right. So moving on to combat. Let's see where he starts. Yeah, that's paying a lot of respect to the gargoyles.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more paying respect to the RevCap hitting on 4s.
Sure.
So bad.
All right, so here's the dragon on the cannon.
First-hand experience with that, Matt.
Oh.
All right.
So this was
the cannon on snakes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cannon. There's once.
Nice.
Oh,
Half-breed champ's not inspiring.
Nope. It's their one downside.
Yeah, only for abominations. And while most of us would consider the heavy mortar an abomination, it does not have the keyword.
He's gonna not.
He just gave the Black Souls a flank.
Yeah.
Ooh.
24 attacks, 5s and vicious. 24. I guess I'd do that. Yeah, it's a flying anvil. And now he's forcing those grotesques into a bad position.
3 hits, 3 more wounds on the gargoyles.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's a safe flank to give.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I guess then they can't block them.
Yeah,
Once a 10,
no.
that'll definitely get rid of the gargoyles.
So he
And
needs
while-
to overrun here.
Between that Hexcaster and the Ironcaster, too, there is no Banechant in either list. So what you see is what you get.
Can't do that, buddy.
Yeah, can't do that. You got your character behind you. Yep. And you want to walk forward anyway.
Yep. You want to open up?
There we go.
Yep. See how far it goes.
Yep.
Anything here is good. Like,
No, buddy.
Don't just turn.
And-
Chaff it.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
That's bad. That's no
he might-
bueno.
You might
That's-
definitely regret that later.
Yep.
'Cause- Oh man, grotesques with Strider gonna be.
We're gonna pop Shobek.
Yep. That's
Oh,
not something Shobek wants to have on a flank.
no, sir.
And so it looks like the Slave Guardians pulled 5 wounds on the
Yeah,
Lesser Obsidian Horde there.
that's a good start, especially
that's a
for
good
being
start.
hindered.
It's a solid
Absolutely.
start. Here comes Shobek doing, looks like 3 wounds.
Yep. Can't even scratch him.
Yep, moving on. See the unhindered unit. No items on them.
The unhindered unit's going to do less than the hindered unit, it looks like. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, the exact same.
Turned out the same.
All right. Here's
The
a
hindered unit did really well, getting 5 wounds.
And they did. All right, moving on to the
sixes.
Skellies. Gets 2 hits.
Yeah.
4's to wound. Oh no! No
Yeah.
wounds.
Oof.
All right. Rev Cav into the Overmaster in the forest on a counter charge.
3 hits.
Hmm.
No wounds.
No wounds.
No wounds.
But he got everything out of arc, so.
Well, you say that. If he backs up an inch, I think he sees the Cursed High Priest.
That could be true, yeah.
And that
All
could
right.
be
Let's see if the regiment can get rid of the other gargoyles.
bad. Whew. 7 hits.
Then hits 4 wounds, looks like, I think.
Yep.
So that should get them. Oh! He does not.
Oh, double ones.
That's
That's a pretty meaningful sneak, guys.
Yeah.
because technically, I think if the Overmaster backs up, he's in the flank of the Cursed High Priest. Yep, he's going to see it, and he's not. He can fly, so he's going to charge the Cursed High Priest in the flank, and then he's going to kill it, and then he's going to overrun.
Maybe. It is a dash 13. So.
Yeah, I was going to say the benefit here is being dash.
Yeah. That is a beefy caster. I mean, you
Yep.
pay 85 points for it. And a total, it's 170.
So, yeah, I was going to say he pays a lot more than that for it.
Man.
He pays an astronomical amount of points for it. That's why I never take them.
Let's see if it earns its keep right now.
Yeah.
Because if it bounces, then he turns around and flanks again. And
I mean, the downside here is he's being hindered, so
Right.
we're looking at 4 or 5 wounds realistically. Even
So
if he,
8
Yeah.
twice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
he's
Looks like he did
probably
regen
fine.
both of those wounds, though.
Yeah,
So he's back to fresh.
the big downside is not popping the gargoyles because that means
Yeah.
that he's not. The troop is not the same thing as the regiment to hit the Black Souls.
Mhm.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure they're in the front, so it's not even a flank. He might be able to surge them into the flank.
Yeah, depending on what he does for a reform or an overrun.
Yeah. Or realistically, he turns around and rears the Overmaster.
The Overmaster. Yeah.
Yeah.
With that and some drain life. I don't know.
I don't think he kills it, but at that point he puts it to where it's not doing anything for the rest of the game.
Right.
All right.
Ooh.
Are we trying to corkscrew the monolith with the Black Souls here? Or we're just
Yeah,
gonna-
I think he was trying to see if he could.
Yeah. Yet another trap. Don't charge the monolith. Oh,
Yeah, I don't think he can. The monolith.
biggest waste.
Right. Dash 17. It is not a war engine, so you are not tripling anything.
Yep.
We're just stuck.
And it can still even cast Surge. You could punch it, and it will still be the exact same unit.
Yep.
That is a trap and a half.
Yep. That's why it's in 90% of EOD lists. Because it's just that good.
Surge
so right now,
we want it.
Right now, Andrew might be asking whether or not Shobek is visible in the flank of the grotesques.
Ooh, what do you think? If they ask us,
I think it is.
Yeah. Unless they specifically agreed that he was not last turn, then he definitely is, at least by the line.
Yeah.
He is definitely nicking the line.
Yep.
Not by a lot, but you gotta. I mean, if you're playing the whole thickness of the line, you're playing the whole thickness of the line.
Yeah, depends on how they play it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they had come up with like a verbal agreement beforehand.
Yeah, you can't surge, buddy. I think that was a check on the right hand side, if anything.
All right, so. But
assuming he can't get the flank, then this is a good spot for Kris, I think, because now those grotesques are going to have to fight Revcav, which is not what they want to fight. It does look like he's getting the flank, though.
Yep.
Welp.
So a couple of big developments for Andrew here this turn. Then being able to fly the Overmaster into the flank of the priest and getting a flank charge on Shobek. Because Kris did not walk his Revcav troop forward into the field after killing the gargoyles last turn.
Yeah, let's add that for the second question about, did he just miss the flank, or maybe when he rolls double ones, then he gets reared with the chariots, and we're like, okay, this was all according to something clever plan. But
yeah, I'm doing the math on that flank charge, and it's not good for Shobek.
No.
It's brutal on top of that, so he's already starting off at a 17 effectively.
And I'm guessing they're popping the boots.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
This is when you pop the boots.
Yeah. This is when you swing for the fences right here.
If he double ones it, then Kris can just take the game.
Right. Yeah. We're getting rears. We're getting the troop will go in and contribute. That dragon's going to grind away on the bottom left.
Well, 15. So yeah, because the chariots are in range for a rear charge.
Yep.
The dragon will go into the flank of those golems at the bottom because everything's a flank, so he can just withdraw and go. Yeah, this is going to be a big turn for Andrew. And he still has his shooting, so his cannon can shoot this turn and pop something.
It can. I guess he could try to shoot the monolith because it doesn't have arc on the...
It's stealthy.
Okay.
The monolith is stealthy?
On top of everything else it has, it's stealthy.
What?
Why not?
What?
It's always had
line screech.
It's always had stealthy. Even when it had the weird lightning bolt heal, it's just Yep. No, monolith is great. All the named things in EOD are good.
Folks,
the soul snare is stealthy. The monolith's not stealthy.
Oh yes, sorry. Yeah, the soul snare is stealthy.
Yeah,
although if you are shooting at the monolith, you have bigger problems going on. I
think the monolith is probably blocking line of sight to the soul snare for the cannon. Like you probably can't see the soul snare.
Oh, good call. That would explain the movement then from the previous turn.
Yeah.
That'd be close.
Mm-hmm. With the exception of the flank that he just gave, I think that Kris has done a really good job of presenting poor charges and poor choices on both accounts for everybody. So
Yep.
That said, that flank is pretty big.
It's pretty big. Yep.
Yeah. And would have been really easy to just walk those Revcav forward. Like they've already done their job and chaffed. They've already killed some chaff.
Yep.
Them getting punched by gargoyles and dying perfectly good way. In turn 3, perfectly fine use for them.
Exactly.
There's really no reason to hold them back.
The grand irony here being that even a J-Boots grotesque horde into them would not have been a guaranteed kill to the front.
Right.
Whereas the J-Boots grotesque horde into the flank of Shobek is not a good day for Shobek.
That's a really good point, Matt. Yeah. Yep.
So
if he does kill Shobek, I'm trying to think of how he repositions after the kill, assuming he gets it.
Yeah, because he'll get a flank, barring he doesn't kill the enslaved guardian. So he probably just does a 180 and takes a hindered flank.
So that was some heal cast on the elite golems, and now probably weakness being cast on the enslaved guardians.
Yep. The downside of the enslaved guardian play is that there's not a whole lot he can do with his enslaved guardians now. It's the same problem that the golems have. He can't back up and surge. So
they are stuck. What you see is what you get for a while. Mike, do we have any questions from the chat?
I don't know, but we look. Nope.
Do we have a chat? Do we have?
We do. It's a little early.
Thanks, Steve. And even more as a double honor, thank you for the compliment and for getting the last name right. Because someday my opponents will put me down as Keith Conroy and not Keith Randall.
Oh. Is that to say people misspell Conroy? Oh, wrong name. Got it.
Maybe I'll take elves next round, just to make a point.
Oh God.
Oof.
No one would be able to keep it straight.
So if you're Kris this turn, what do you need to happen?
He needs Shobek to not die.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he wins. But if he
needs his cursed high priest to not die, he needs Shobek to not die, and he needs his dragon to not die to that double flank charge.
Yeah. Realistically, Shobek goes away here, so he desperately needs the cursed high priest not to go away.
Yeah, that would be really big.
And then he needs his guardians to do decent. Or at the very least not get too ground out here.
Yeah. Because we're thinking 7, maybe probably 8 twice on the cursed high priest in the top. Double ones we're thinking for Shobek. And then the I think that dragon is fine. I think the dragon in the bottom left is
I think
good.
It depends on how well the half-breed champ does.
Yeah. The half-breed chant, just rolls out the wazoo. He might get it, but
he might. Yep.
They have brutal on top of all their other rolls.
Why not? Why not? No. Only mighting, crushing strength 2, inspiring.
Only 3 hits. Looks like only 3 hits on the cursed high priest, and
so
only 3 wounds.
So he needs an 11 twice.
10 twice.
10 twice. They're only 13, or he has brutal.
Dash 13.
Okay. Well, it looks like he misses it regardless, so that's good.
Good. Okay.
His Rev Cav will survive another day.
We'll see if these gargoyles can do anything on a counter charge. I guess those gargoyles are there because they got a snake eyes last turn. 1 wound.
That's what they need.
That is it.
Get that Thunderous off.
Yep. All right. Black souls on crossbows.
And
in the middle of the table, somehow.
Right, somehow. We are seeing a combat that has never happened before.
How did they get here?
What is going on?
You may find yourself in the middle of the field, and you may find yourself fighting skeletons with crossbows.
Yeah,
you might ask yourself, how did I get here?
David Byrne, ladies and gentlemen, guest commentator. Oh no, did he not? He did not take
He fearless.
Oof, okay. Interesting. All right.
Yeah. No, that's benefit of fearless troops, man, is that they're deceptively tough.
Yeah, dash 11.
It looks like 10 hits from the golems in the center on Shobek. A lot of vicious rolls, but only picking up 1, I think. Still 5.
Yep.
That's a big start.
Roll.
Here we go. Crushing strength 1, thunderous charge 2 that he gets all. So 4s and 3s.
Yep, 4s and 3s.
On 36 attacks. This will be big.
20.
And he hit 20, so he's already going on the high side.
Yeah.
9. So he
What?
needs a
Wow.
effectively
Four vicious rolls. Picks up 3
Oh,
more.
there we go.
yeah. That's the
That's
yeah.
the double ones.
Okay.
And
that's Shobek.
that's Shobek.
Yep. Thick.
Mm-hmm.
Big moment.
Still took that to remove him in 1 turn, but
Yes.
not something you want to see go away in 1 turn like that.
No, definitely not. That
Yeah.
I would chalk that down as what do we call that? An unforced error.
Yep.
That put the chariots just out of reach. 12.
No, they're still touching.
13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, he can still get it.
And he can't turn anymore because the corner of the golems are in the way.
The trick is, can he see it?
Well, they're taller than the Rev Cav, aren't they?
Nope. Not anymore, they're not.
No, we just have to get them out of the way first.
Once upon a time. Yeah, this is the issue, is that losing Shobek means that I've always talked about if you can't pop the sides on an opponent, so like there's the 2 schools of thought, right? Like you either pop the flanks and then you turn to the center and just eat the person in the center, or you pop the center and then you turn out to one side. So in this case, Shobek was the center.
Right.
Yep.
And because these golems can't get out of dodge now, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a downhill slide. If his golems on the left, if he can pick up those, because his Enslaved Guardians plus the Rev King on Worm into those golems in the flank, because they'll be unhindered now, and they're not weak. So I think that will actually be okay.
Yeah, there is still the dragon in the bottom left that could take a flank. I think the grotesques would die. There's going to be a trade. Something on Andrew's side is going to die.
Ooh, that's a good call, actually. If he does,
Chariot
he moves chariots to the front, dragon to the flank.
That'll pick up the grots and kind of.
And then the downside, I mean, he still has to get he needs. I would actually rather just do the chariots and guarantee these golems go away.
Those are the normal ones, right?
Yeah, they're just the normal ones. Because the issue is that this Enslaved Guardian Horde, if it's just standing there, then he could potentially get a surge flank with the other Obsidian Golems.
Oh, something of note, too, for Kris. He is down to 36 minutes, and it's the bottom of 3. Or not Kris. This is Andrew's clock?
I think they must have forgotten to switch it.
Uh-oh.
I think Andrew's been doing his turn on Chris's clock.
Gotcha. Is that something we want to change?
Hopefully they'll notice here in a minute when the turns switch and just let it run through 2 turns on Andrew's clock to even it back out.
Yeah, I don't remember what we said in the beginning about checking clocks. Oh, whoa.
Yeah. Ooh, with a 9.
He took him.
Or he can just pop that unit.
Yeah, that.
Yikes.
Oof.
Okay, so that's a little unexpected and pretty big.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a problem for Kris.
That's a problem.
So big turn for Andrew here.
Yeah, Shobek and Enslaved Guardians. Not many hammers left.
Now that's a flank instead of a front. Or no, that's a front instead of a flank, rather.
Yep. I guess it is.
Now I think his best play... I mean, I think he has to go for the grotesque. So I think he does Rev Cav into the front of the golems, which basically pins them.
Yep.
And is not a terrible option for them anyway. And then he does chariots and Rev King into the grotesques and picks those up.
Oh, Mike, can that dragon, if it withdraws an inch, can it hit the rear of those columns? The golems that are in the middle with the crystal pendant going forward and pivoting. Could it fit in there?
It'd be hindered, so it'd be 30 attacks on 5s and 3s.
Yep. All right, looks like they're going to take a little 2-minute break here mid-game.
Okay.
Matt G's got a question of what's the abyssal dwarf count in the dwarf list. He's got 2 regiments of Black Souls, which are dwarf infantry, which are pretty dwarfy dwarfs, I think.
Yeah. He has actual abyssal dwarves in an abyssal dwarf list.
Yeah.
A third thing that we never thought that we would say this game.
Okay, now I will tell them.
Well, that aren't decimators, I suppose.
I keep seeing them. That my instinct is like, oh, they're clearly the fearless immortal guard, right? And it's like, no, they're actual Black Souls. They're just regular Black Soul regiments.
Yeah. All right, so that was a pretty devastating turn.
Yeah, if he can. That was a good call on if he can get to the flank, and that's definitely something I would check. It would be pretty tight because the issue is he's got the way these grotesques are tilted prevents him from actually sliding over too far to the left on that unit, so he actually has to be pretty much like his square has to fit in between all that, and I think he ends up touching this other golem horde in the bottom left before he can fit. It's worth checking, but I definitely don't think he can get to it, which means that I think he has to pin the lessers, and then
Yes. Yep.
if he can move, man, if he can get this the Revcav champion just can't be in the right spot from where he's at because he can only move 8 inches. Yeah, there we go.
Yep. I think something of note as an advantage to Kris is that right now those golems in the bottom left, if he pins them with this troop and if he pins them for a turn or two with this dragon, they are outside of the scoring zone right now.
Yeah.
So hopefully he can keep them out and then try to whittle down some of this unit strength. But I think that this turn, those enslaved guardians need to pick up something.
The downside here about charging the dragon in the flank, though, is then he could back up and surge, or back up and just do a corkscrew with his lesser golem horde.
Absolutely, yeah. He's got to pick up a unit this turn. If he bounces, you're right, he's going to get surged.
Grotesques are on 1 wound, so if he does the chariots and the character into them.
Yeah, I think that's what you have to do at this point.
Actually, what I think you do, man, it's just all bad for Kris right now.
Yeah.
It's still on Kris's clock too. They didn't pause it during the break, and they didn't
switch it over either. Yeah.
Yeah. I would have moved this Revcav champ to put him just on the edge of the terrain and force the chariots to go to the far side of the grotesques, which is risky. But that way they're out of the terrain for the next turn. Because they have to pop J-boots this turn to make sure that they're killing them. But after that, they're going to be hindered and fighting defense 6 golems, so they're desperately going to need that Thunderous. Yeah, I guess he's doing this one, which...
I mean, you gotta, because otherwise those golems take out your enslaved guardians, and then you just don't have enough unit strength. You don't have enough combat units in an already thin army. Yeah.
Yep, here they come.
Popping the J-boots.
Largest unit in the game.
There it is.
Almighty 20 attacks. I will say this. I do like the Legion profile. I do think that it actually can constitute as a hammer.
Sure. Can get some sneaky charges too with its size, being able to back up and pivot.
Yep.
Doesn't really occur to somebody to say like, "Oh yeah, Legion of Chariots. Yeah, that's something that could get a corkscrew charge." But
it can do weird finagly movements. Yes.
Yes. Like Kyle Poole and the Mincers and some of these other weirdly shaped units that it's not until they're hitting you in the flank that you get that aha moment. This is how it's going down. Okay, so what does Kris need this turn?
I'm just
He needs
trying
to
to
bake the grotesques, that's for sure.
If he pops the grotesques, the big issue is that dragon's not in a good spot after that, because then he's getting flanked by golems on the bottom, or flanked by golems in the center potentially, or surged by golems in the center. I think the golems in the center just turn and face the chariots and just surge into them potentially, and then just they will grind that to death over time. Because once the chariots get punched, they're not doing anything for the rest of the game. It does look like he's going to go for the rear surge on the Overmaster.
Yeah. I think that Overmaster has accomplished its job, though. It's keeping, 4 unit strength, 5 unit strength out of the middle.
Here's the thing:
turn 7.
I don't think that rear kills it. If he misses these gargoyles again and doesn't overrun far enough to get out of reach, then he's going to get an Overmaster in the flank.
Yeah. Yeah, the troop not doing a wound and grounding the Overmaster definitely tilted that whole flank to Andrew's benefit.
I don't think it was the missing the Overmaster that was the issue. I think it was the giving him the character that was. Like not seeing that he was going to be able to back up and charge the Cursed High Priest.
Yeah, that's true. Because otherwise the Overmaster wouldn't have done anything.
Right. Overmaster flying over would have been like, oh no, but now it's in a prime spot to keep 4 unit strength from getting to the center of the board.
Yeah.
Isn't it incredible that we've been playing 3rd edition for so long and we still get caught out on that 1-inch backup and not taking that into account?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah, moving that the Cursed High Priest to the left side of the forest versus the right, I think would have benefited him more ultimately.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue here was that Kris did not pop the Black Souls when he had the chance.
Yep.
Because it's 3 unit strength that now is going to eat through those archers.
Yep.
I don't think there's enough soul drain realistically left on the table to get it, and the archers without Thunderous are just not gonna do jack.
Right, so here's the soul snare on the Overmaster.
I think it's just too late in the game to be worried about the Overmaster. I think you have more pressing concerns in the middle. I would soul drain the Black Souls and try to heal your enslaved guardians. I don't know.
Well,
the games I played against Kris, I'm the one who gets caught in the hey, I'm going to put everything against this stupid flyer and forget about the objective. And it seems like in this game, he's putting way too many resources into a flyer that he has pinned.
Doesn't matter.
So, right. You need to keep those enslaved guardians. And
I think the soul snare backing up off this hill is definitely an issue. It needs to be
in the middle.
Exactly. He needs to recoup the middle. I don't think, because this is turn 4.
Right.
I mean, he still has some time to get the RevCav regiment into play, but it's a RevCav regiment. It's not the bee's knees.
Yeah, and those enslaved guardians, there's no iron resolve anymore, so they could die. I mean, it's hitting on 4s.
they could die. They're gonna die.
They're gonna die. They could.
Losing the one on the left was pretty bad. That was pretty clutch on Andrew's part.
Looks like the dragon's going to contribute 3 wounds to that combat.
5 wounds. 5 wounds. Crushing.
Yep. Turns out hitting on 4s.
And now the chariots.
6 from them.
It's a 12.
Or no, 8 from them, because this is defense 5.
Okay.
It's the only thing they have a good shot at.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Pick up that unit.
10 should get it, unless anything's inspiring. Looks like everything's probably too far away. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
That was good.
Yeah, he needed that. A double ones would have hurt.
Oof.
I would shuffle the chariots to the left, or the chariots left specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Up table, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Trying to get out of the terrain.
It looks like he's going to put his dragon in such a way that, yeah,
If he
keep
backs
everything
up and
fine.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, the trick here being that he could just turn the golems in a big wide circle and just flank them anyway.
Yep.
And the benefit of those golems is they explode. So it's like, oh no, the chariots flanked them. Woo, get them. Yeah.
And at this point, Andrew's A-okay with trading units.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And realistically, I don't even think he cares about the dragon in this case. I think he just walks forward and makes sure the enslaved guardians go away.
Right, because everything else is in the front, and chariots and a dragon don't pick him up in the front.
Yep.
It's
Especially
important.
not hindered chariots.
No, and not with the time he has, because he's got 23 minutes left, which still may be enough time. I mean, 5 and 6 might go by quickly, but they got to discover that clock before it becomes an awkward moment later on.
Right.
Unless this is Andrew's time, I don't know. I think that it's...
No, that's Chris's clock.
That's Chris.
9 unit strength here, 12
Yeah.
unit strength effectively. That's untouched. And
Right.
versus
3 for the chariot. Let me check the
the
chariots.
chariots are 4.
Chariots are
that
4.
is-
Okay.
That is the benefit of Legion.
Okay.
They
Stay
do.
4 even with shooting. Okay.
Yep.
Good.
Well, it's 10 shots.
Yeah. It's not what they once were.
All right. No wounds on the golem up it. No, one wound on the golem.
He does a wound.
He does one. Right, because you don't lose all your Thunderous on a hinder anymore.
Yep.
Mm.
Right.
That's actually pretty good for RevCav troop, getting a wound on defense 6.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Weekend Guardians.
Oh,
All right.
Okay. Well, let's just hit
Okay.
them all. Why not? Just do it. Is that 8 wounds?
So it's 11, isn't it? Aren't they crushing 2?
Yeah.
Weakness, though.
That was good.
Well, they're,
Oh,
they're
that
was
weakness.
Oh, they're weakened. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
it's only-
That's still pretty freaking good.
Still
Did
got
he-
some.
Oh, wow!
8 and
Oh,
11.
Whoa.
That
All
just
right.
swung this game back.
What are we even talking? I mean, of course he knew that he would scoop them, right? So that he was like, I'm not even going to soul drain. Like, what are we doing here? You know, just
Yeah. And frickin' Andrew is just like, what? Yep, no,
What?
I'm with you on that.
right?
I mean, I would say that's an even trade for losing the Guardians on the left-hand side, which was a pretty high dice roll on that side too.
True.
The dice hate Andrew. Well, yeah, 18 hits out of 18.
Yep.
Why not?
3 is pretty good.
Okay.
Wouldn't
18.
complain about that.
The
Nope.
downside being that they're already at 6 wounds, and he's
Yeah.
gonna get
He's gonna get him. Yep.
probably just runs the golems into them with the hexcaster thrown in some support, and that should
Sure.
probably do it.
I think that there's just not enough time for these RevCav on the top right.
Well, he needs to not miss the gargoyles this time.
True. Is he doing that combat first?
Yep.
He is.
That's pretty critical. He needs
Yeah.
to.
I mean, he definitely did enough wounds to put them on snakes.
I mean, I
So-
would have actually done the Overmaster first, and the long shot that the
Right. The second roll's a double ones.
right.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Turns to face.
Hmm.
Uh,
Trying to go for a flank?
I would not turn that much. I would turn back so you can at least keep the Black Souls in face.
Right. So
Yeah.
you can make that decision.
yeah,
It's
so you
kinda-
have.
Well, actually, hold on. Right where he's positioned, man, I'll say this for Kris. That's good positioning, because what will happen is if he gets front charged by the Overmaster, he can back up an inch and see the Black Souls again.
Oh,
That's
Okay.
actually
So
really good. Yeah.
wow. Go
And it would
Kris.
still be in a flank.
So-
Pretty good number of wounds from the troop in the rear, actually.
What did they end up getting?
They
They
did.
did
Oh,
5. They did 5.
That's what they should.
And
That's
a
a 10.
16.
Does
Yeah.
that waiver that?
16, 18? Let's check.
I think he's
No,
17,
off by
19.
He's a real dragon.
He's a real
Off
boy.
by 1.
Yeah. He's
So
he's
close.
a -1 attack, but otherwise he's a real dragon.
That's
All right.
Yeah, that's expected. I
that's
mean,
expected.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, like the waiver would have been kind of over the top there.
Yep, that would have.
My thing here is, I think actually, as weird as this sounds, his best play is to countercharge the troop.
Yep. Because if he
And-
kills it, then he can free himself a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the Rev Cav regiment, I mean, this may sound crazy, but they're just not. They don't hit really well.
No, and he's got regen too, so he could
Yep.
spike a good regen and just not care.
Yeah. And that actually prevents the Rev Cav regiment for getting to the center of the table by doing
Mhm.
that. I don't know if he'll spot the 1-inch backup. That's some, like I said, that's really good play on Chris's part.
And
the thing is, let's see, looking at the left here though, Cursed, the half-breed champ, is going to end up being able to get to either the troop or I think he's just out of the dragon.
did they switch the clock? I still see it going down to 17.
I'm gonna make sure to reload it to make sure I'm not showing the wrong thing here. Because occasionally,
Ooh.
Mm-mm.
I don't know that I like this though.
I don't like that either. You got to take
Oh,
those
there we
enslaved
go.
guardians and face.
Yeah, no, I think this is bad. I think this is. I mean, like he'll pick up the dragon, which is good, but
There we
like,
Will
And
he though?
he's-
I don't know.
I think they had been switching the clock, and my browser, since I never update it, had gotten stuck and was just counting down Chris's clock instead of keeping up. So
I mean, he's going to be a hindered flank there.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he takes some.
5s. I mean, so I think it's a good shot that he picks it up. The issue is that then he has enslaved guardians to deal with still, which is not the
rear.
unit you want to stay alive.
No, and I
Um,
don't think that unless that mortar rolls out of the box and weakness, maybe he's going to rely on shooting.
Can the mortar even shoot them at this point?
can't shoot the
close?
enslaved guardians.
Oh, what
Yeah.
does he shoot? I guess he goes for the
Just
chariots.
the chariots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dash
but-
22. That's not a good shot.
And
I will say this.
I don't think you can see the chariots.
Mm,
His golems are in the way.
Yeah,
I
his
think
golem's in the
after-
way.
If he surges, he'll be fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this about Kris: this Empire Dust list, in a scenario that lends itself to your opponents taking shooting, there are very few good shooting targets.
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably
I-
just the Dead Eyes, honestly, and the Soul Snare if you can get it.
It's off the hill. We can't see it.
Yeah, or just in general, like
In general, right? Yeah, that's
you
true.
know.
I guess he's counting on. I just don't like picking up this dragon though, because it just doesn't help him that much.
Right, it's the same trap that he's pulling in the top right. Is that you have
Yeah.
4 unit strength going against 1, and here you take the enslaved guardians. You don't care about a 1 unit strength guardian or dragon at the bottom of 4 right now.
Right.
The only thing it's bracing is you.
These
I
are the
guess-
crystal pendant golems. Maybe he's hoping that they blow up really big.
Yeah. I mean, the downside of the half-breed
Mm.
champion's still in play too, so the guardians being as wounded as they are, if they pop the explodey unit, the half-breed champ can clean them up.
Yeah,
Looks like the Overmaster regened 2 and did decide to go hindered into the front of the Revcav regiment in the top right.
Ooh. Let's see if math prediction comes true then. If the Black Souls are going to get a rear charge.
Yeah, if Kris doesn't do that flank, I'm gonna be. I'll give him some post game like, what were you doing?
Question number 3. Yep. Yeah.
Now that said, a flank of realistically they're gonna lose their Thunderous because if he's gonna get a wound here. So flank
Sure.
on 5s and 5s
Mm-hmm.
probably may not. I mean, he's still probably not picking them up, but it does put them closer to the center, and he has 2 turns.
Yeah, and the Soul Drain is still nearby, so he could get 5s and 4s if he doesn't Soul Drain the.
If he moves his Cursed High Priest and he could probably get the. Can he with speed 8?
Where's the surge?
Here in the center. So these are going to be the pendant golems surging into the flank of the Rev King, flying Rev King.
Yeah,
it's got to hit on 5s though.
Yep.
Yeah, Mike. Let's record this one down as another end of game question. Bottom of 4, choosing not to go for the enslaved guardians. I'm with Matt. I don't agree with this choice. I think you kill the enslaved guardians and then turn to face to keep everything in the front.
Because what are they? They're 18 attacks. They're like 18 attacks on 5s. It's not even. I mean, I guess they're crush 3 though, so everything that hits is gonna hurt. It's just he needs every single hit to hit. If he rolls even a little under, then he may not pop it.
Nope.
And if he doesn't pop it, then he can just send the chariots into the flank.
Now, with the Crystal Pendant, do you get to choose which units, or
it hits all the units touching?
All the units touching. So maybe, yeah. I don't think it takes the. That's the other thing. There's nothing to force more checks on the chariots.
Yeah,
at that point,
if he
half-breed
kills it, I think he turns around and faces the Guardians. If he doesn't kill it, then I think Kris just puts the Guardians into the rear and actually tries to keep the chariots fresh and out of the way. And gets them out of the terrain because he needs to get them out of the terrain.
So he's shooting.
Oh, did he just? He's trying to
figure out if the majority of the unit is in the forest. So if the cannon has cover.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. Since that matters now. What was the first question we wanted to ask them? I neglected to write it down. We wanted to ask Kris something, I think.
The placement of the chariot.
Why didn't he? Sure.
Oh, you had another one.
Why didn't he walk the RevCav troop forward to block?
Yes.
The attack?
Yeah. I gotta say, after losing Shobek as his first piece, he lost and an enslaved Guardian Horde, which are 2 of his biggest punchy units, and coming back from that is going to be pretty impressive.
Right.
But man, his positioning in the center is just kind of crazy right now. Like, he could just ignore those golems in theory, turn around and punch the Black Souls if he absolutely wanted to. But I think he since the enslaved guardians are already so beat up, I think he throws them and makes sure the golems go, and then that's their last hurrah.
That was a big moment for Kris, getting 18 attacks and hitting all 18. Killing the columns.
That's definitely
really
in the morning.
Looks like the cannon did miss the RevCav troop. So far, Andrew's artillery has been not really a presence in this game.
I did manage to get 3 wounds, though, from the Hexcaster, which puts them in an 8 twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is doable. It's the one unit that I always forget doesn't have very inspiring is the Monolith. Looks like he misses it. Monolith only has regular inspiring.
That would have been some karmic justice if he had been able to get that and sort of negated that incredible roll.
Man, alternatively here, that Ironcaster is in a dangerously close distance to those enslaved guardians. But that puts them out of the center, though.
Oh, would it? Even with the...
Yeah, he could surge, he could bump them over the hill and then try to surge the Ironcaster, kill the Ironcaster, move into the flank or the rear of the other golems, assuming they don't kill the RevCav troop, which is, with the half-breed, I think they've got a good shot of doing it.
I think so too, yeah.
But never underestimate how tough those freaking RevCav troops are.
Yeah, even with the point bump.
Starts off with a wound, but re-rolls, so 2 wounds. Nice.
Good. Okay, so
needed that.
Yes.
Yep.
And then hitting on 4s. Let's see how swingy it is.
Yep. The real question.
8.
Okay.
A little below.
But everything that hits will be a wound.
Okay.
So up to 10 needs a 4 twice.
Gets him. The outwounding on 3s. Yep, 9.
Yep.
And there it is. Okay, so that was good for him.
This is why I actually think with the points increase, this is where I think the regiments of chariots coming in are better. Because against units like that, it's like, oh, whoop-de-doo, my defense is lower, but I have more nerve.
Right.
And units like that are just going to wound you anyway.
Right. All right, here's see if he does the dragon next, because that'll be a big one.
Yeah.
36 attacks, 5s and 3s with vicious.
5s and 3s. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's already got 5 wounds
2s, aren't they? They're not crush 3. They're crush 2.
The golems? No, I think only 2.
Okay.
2 with vicious. Yep.
Okay,
just like the mortars.
5s and 3s, but vicious.
What's he rolling now?
What is he doing?
He's
shuffle.
Okay.
Yeah, so he can see the chariots.
Yeah.
Which
is a good call, because chariots without Thunderous on 4s
don't do anything.
Basically just skeletons.
Yep, just a big skeleton unit.
Big unit of skeletons. Strip that thin veneer of Thunderous 2 and yep.
All right. So let's see where
got a lot of nerve though.
They have some nerve.
It's like it's 20 something. They've got some pretty decent nerve for the Legion.
Yeah, Dash 22 for the Legion. It's beefy.
13 on 36.
Yep, that's not what he wanted to see. That's a double ones twice.
What did he get?
Well, he got 10 before the vicious. Yeah. Once, 16. Twice.
There it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
There goes the dragon.
13 on 5. Yeah, I guess that.
Which, I mean, with the fact that the Guardians are weak, I guess he turns around here.
Puts the Guardians in the front, takes hindered chariots in the flank.
Yeah. Now I actually think...
I don't even put the Guardians in at this point. You don't want to crystal pen at them and then get plinked off by the Hexcaster.
I mean, I think the Guardians are going to get plinked off regardless. They just don't have enough wounds left.
Is the Soul Snare in range? Can that move up with 5 inches and try to rescue some wounds? I hope that Kris does. I mean, it's... Yeah.
Ooh.
Depends if he moves them or not.
9, 12, 15, 18. What's the Soul Snare's range?
23 effective. It's got movement 5.
Okay. Yeah, he can get up on the hill and get there.
Okay. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I hope Kris doesn't take the bait and go for the Overmaster. I hope that he should have last turn, I think, but now he really needs to move that Soul Snare in and focus on the objective instead of slap and tickle on the top right.
As odd as this sounds, I think...
Nothing's odd in this game, Matt.
Right.
We've seen 18 attacks hitting 18 out of 18 times.
I think he might actually want to pop the Hexcaster.
Overrun into the cannon?
Not necessarily overrun. I mean, that he could do that, and I don't think that's a bad option either. But realistically, pop the Hexcaster stops his shooting plink and gets rid of weakness. It also get a wound back to the Enslaved Guardians, and then he can turn around. He'll be coming off a hill at defense 6, so it'll be Thunder 1 and Crush 2. And then the Chariots can probably grind out a turn against the 2 hordes, especially because one will be hindered.
Good call.
And if he positions really well with the Chariots, I think he can, if he moves 4 inches diagonally sideways, I think he might be able to get out of the terrain. And then if he moves his character to stop them, he can surge them in without being hindered.
All right, big moment for the Black Souls.
Ooh, he needed to do that, yeah.
What did he get? Or did he roll yet, or is he just checking?
Yeah, he hasn't rolled yet. He's just checking to see how far they might get.
Well, we need to see if he moves.
Yeah. by moving them 6 inches forward, hopefully he's seen that Rev Cav flank. Yes, he has.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
But now
he
it's a
has.
rear with the enslaved guardians if he chooses to.
I feel like those enslaved guardians have other work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
still
it would
think
be a safe life leech and a safe soul drain. But you're right. I got other stuff.
it's going to be a tight disengage from the Rev Cav to get there. But I still think he can get to the front. And I still think that's his best play, too, is grinding the Rev Cav into that unit. Oh, no. Don't aim for the flank. Don't do it.
It's a trap.
Do not put your chariots into a giant chunk of terrain that they'll never get out of. And they aren't gonna do it. You popped J-boots earlier. You're hitting on 5s and winning on 5s.
There's no Bane Chant. There's no Bane Chant.
And there's no Bane Chant.
Now is he doing this to... I guess he only takes 1 then.
It's 4 unit strength, buddy. You don't need to do this.
Yeah, that could... It could
Also,
be the only unit strength left alive in another turn.
Yeah. Also, again, realistically, see, just
okay.
shuffle sideways.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Get out of the terrain. Then you might actually you have a better shot at killing them out of the terrain than you do trying to flank them. Even then, though, you're looking at 5 wounds.
So we have moved on to top of 5. This is Chris's top of 5. Looks like he's taken the Rev Cav troop into the rear of the Overmaster up in the forest.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. We need a Mike Rossi sound bit right here that says, as you do. As you do.
As you do.
As you do. And yeah, that Soul Snare, whatever it chooses to do next turn is going to be pretty big. The nice thing about having that position with the Rev Cav on the top right is that now the Soul Snare is safe from the Black Souls. If it had tried to poke over and was in the charge range, that is nice.
I mean, the benefit of turning the Black Souls that way is that now the Soul Snare can pop back over.
Yes, yep, and is safe.
Yeah. Basically opens it back up again. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the middle.
What's he gonna try and do with this chump character? Is he trying to charge the Black Souls? No.
Mm-hmm.
Is he still gonna try to do the flank? He's still gonna try to do the flank. I don't like that.
I'd go in the front
bit.
Yep, you gotta keep your unit strength alive. Those Black Souls, they're not even in the game right now on the bottom left.
Yeah.
But if you give them a charge, they're back in the game.
Yep.
They might not make it to be a scoring unit by the end of the game.
With all the terrain they got to walk through. Yeah. No, they are effectively out as long as he doesn't give them a charge.
Sure. Turn 7 or a charge, they're out. It's
5s and 5s on 20 is gonna. He does more wounds if he can just get an unhindered front, which is better for his positioning anyway.
Right.
I think this is. I dislike this.
I feel better about it though, knowing that he has 35 minutes on his clock and not 17.
Yeah. Very true.
I mean, unless he's going to put the Guardians in as well, but then he's going to explode on the Guardians. Okay, no, he is going to surge into the Hexcaster.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I like that. I think that's good play. Heck, I might say just go over and pop the cannon while you're at it.
Yeah, if you can get that overrun, because then you're effectively, there's no good pivot angles for him to get both. You're going to get flanked by something.
I mean, I think he can't, though, because he can't risk getting flanked by the golems at that point. So he needs to keep, if he's going to do this, he needs to keep the enslaved guardians alive.
He does. So I don't think you take that overrun just on the risk, but
Yeah, I think you just pivot.
Right.
And if he can, he pivots to where he's on the hill, which I think he can do at that point.
Maybe?
Yeah, and then he can come off the hill to do Thunder. Man, Crush. Thunder 1, Crush 2 Guardians is going to be something.
It's going to be something.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Soul Snare, get on the hill, Soul Snare. You got to, if he stays one more turn kind of hanging out in the forest, I think you're losing a lot of the potential already.
I think he's still worrying about the Overmaster.
Why did he put him back in? No,
What are you doing? The Overmaster,
Also-
they're out of the game. It's top of 5.
And the Cursed High Priest, like, there's so much that could be coming out of this. So much unit strength.
Kris, you're the one that's supposed to be baiting people with your dragon and having them do stupid fights. Oh no. Yeah, go for the at least move out of. I don't like that. Yeah, I think we're spending way too much time with 4 unit strength trying to kill a dragon in the woods than trying to get them into the middle.
Yeah.
I guess he's pushing the chariots. Or he shot them and then he, yeah.
I don't like this at all.
Nope. That's
Nope,
bad.
This is not.
And here's the thing.
Wait another turn.
It would have been more wounds to get the front charge.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's
There's no Bane camp.
he actually hurts himself by getting this flank.
Yeah, I don't. I agree with you, man. I think this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you're going to bring those Black Souls into play because if they get a flank, turn 6 or 7, now they can become a scoring unit.
And the worst part is, even if he rolls out the wazoo and like pops them, like let's say he kills them, he's still in a terrible spot. Like he can't even. He's not going to be able to fit to where he can put the golems in the front.
Yeah,
so the golems are getting a free flank.
Kris is going to need to turn 7 now.
Yeah.
To try to get these rev into the middle and pop this, which he could do. But
yeah. Plus, they're not in the center anymore. That's 4 unit strength. He just literally just gave Andrew.
Right, and a couple of flanks that are gonna.
Yeah. Plus, it brings the Black Souls in to where they might actually get to the center now.
Yep.
Like it's. All of that, I think was way too. I think it was like, oh, I get a free surge flank, and it was just like, that must be the best option. It's like, but was it though?
Was it? I think this is a commentator's coordinated beard stroke at the moment.
If anything, you know what? I think he could have charged the Black Souls with them. I think he way overthought this, and he could have moved the monolith out of the way.
Oh, that's
gotten the chariots into the flank of the Black Souls.
Oh man, that would have been. Mike, can you see if they would have been?
Because they were right in front of the guard.
Oh, they were at an angle. That's right. If he had.
Yeah, they might have been. They might have been able to.
So, assuming he just moved the monolith out of the way, which he didn't need to surge anything this turn, he could have marched it, and then.
Well, just the enslaved guardians, but yeah, he certainly had enough.
Yeah. Well, and he also has 24-inch range on that surge, so if he just turns the monolith to the right and moves forward, I think there would have been enough space.
Doesn't care about line of sight, just anywhere within 24.
Yep. So that's unfortunate. But he does pop the Hexcaster, which was big. That was necessary. He is.
Did he overrun? Oh, what's that one for?
Ooh, I don't like that.
Nope. You reform.
I think Kris might be on tilt because that's not what he wants to do.
No, you got to reform. Now you're going to lose both of your scoring units.
Yep. Because now those golems. I mean, he's out of arc, so he at least forces a surge. But speed 5, like even if he misses the surge, it's a safe surge.
Yep. Yeah, and he's got surge 8.
Yeah. So more than likely he'll get it.
Only 1 wound from the Rev Cap troop in the rear.
Yeah, I think he got a little greedy with that overrun. It looked like a 4-up, and you don't need to take out the cannon at this point.
No.
Yeah.
Not going to do much.
And 4 will do nothing to that dragon.
Yeah. I mean, props for trying to kill it, but like, what was?
Yeah.
There just wasn't a point to killing it.
No, you gotta get your unit strength to the middle, and unless there's a 7, it's stuck.
Yeah, I think he's kind of gotten tunnel vision on the right side there.
He does remember the Snareos dominate, right? It's not kill.
Mm-mm.
And even if it was killed, like that one dragon's holding up 500 points of stuff.
Yeah, and even more importantly, 4 unit strength.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those Revcav needed to go to the center. There was no reason for them to fight the dragon.
Yeah, top of 5.
Now, he might not have been able to have cut the turn.
Yeah, maybe that's what they decided, right? Is that the Revcav regiment? Oh, I don't.
He just turns that to face the center. There's no reason for him to. Oh yeah, he whiffed on the golems, right?
Yeah, it looks like only 4 wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Matt. I don't like that flank at all. Now you're going to lose unit strength 4, and now you're going to have 9 more unit strength. This turn he could lose 7 unit strength.
So here's the funniest part about that dragon. He can just turn it 90 degrees to the bottom of the table and just walk forward and be out of everything. If the Revcav want to turn and surge him, it'll be a hindered rear at best.
And we know how that works. And he's still got regen.
And he'll regen most of his wounds.
Nothing back. Regen 5 up. Looks like he missed all of them.
And he could still get the unit strength to the center of the table.
Yep. There it is. Yeah, if I'm Kris, I'm in a pretty bad position right now. I think that overrun and that flank charge were, I think like Mike said, he got some tunnel vision.
Yeah, that turn was not a good turn. There's no ifs, whats, or buts about it. That was not those were not good moves.
Yeah, and you already had
may be harsh, but
you got a miracle once in 100 game roll where those enslaved guardians killed those golems, and now you're just giving them a flank.
Yeah.
He's hoping for a lightning strikes twice kind of moment.
I mean, it is. Yeah. With the chariots being there, looks like he's just going to pop the chariots to guarantee it. And then at that point, he can just turn to face with everything. And he's got so much unit strength in the center of the table that even if the Guardians live, it's not that big of a deal. He could also just throw the Overmaster in front of them, potentially, making it difficult to surge.
Yep.
Because he can afford to lose the Overmaster at this point. Like it doesn't.
Oh, sure. It's paid dividends keeping 4 unit strength, 5 with Soul Snare doesn't have unit strength, but a Soul Snare is out of use. It's nowhere near where it needs to be, keeping the scoring units alive. It's yeah.
And we could be like, oh, but like, what about the Revcav champ and like doing plink wounds on the golems to pick him off the board? And it's like, right, but he won't.
He won't.
He's in terrain to begin with.
He's gonna hit on 5s and wound on 5s with 4 attacks, buddy.
That's it.
He'll be very happy if he gets a wound.
And that Ironcaster has heal 6. So by the time any of these Revcav in the top right become relevant on 7, we could see those golems fully healed. This is not looking very good.
There's just no unit strength left for Kris. I mean, he's got the monolith.
Although of note, he didn't take the enslaved guardians, but
yeah,
I don't
he may not have been able to do the pivot with the chariot so close. Sure. I don't know if he would have broken the inch. But again, it's not like the enslaved guardians are going to be able to get to anything, it looks like.
Yep.
Because he could get he's got the Surge 8 from the monolith, but the Rev Champ would be pretty taxed to get within range.
Yeah, bringing those Black Souls in is huge now, because even if he takes off a golem,
If he gets
It's
really
still too
lucky
much.
and the chariots don't die,
Yep.
then
He could
picks up.
rear the golems with a surge.
Yeah, that's probably his best play after that.
And then he has 4 unit strength to
And then he
3.
puts the chariots to where they face the guardians at the bottom.
Yep. Try to survive again. But then again, his soul drain is just not where it needs to be, because if he survives and gets a lucky soul drain, maybe he wins. Maybe he lives a second turn.
Yeah.
But
I will say, so I've been giving Kris like a lot of shade right now, but I will say for Andrew, I don't like the Black Souls moving up to the top right. I think that is entirely unnecessary. I think that's 3 unit strength that could be in the center of the table.
Right, that could decide it.
Yeah, and there's no reason to go punch those RevCav that are already wasting way too much time punching an Overmaster.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, that actually is in fact making the RevCav potentially relevant, because now they might be able to, if they both get charges on, well, if the regiment gets a super lucky charge on the Black Souls combined with all the Soul Drain,
Pop some overruns.
Gets to the center of the table.
Ooh, good call. And I think he's angled in such a way that, yeah, it's kind of bringing him. Yeah, why did he do that?
Yeah, like I said, that was maybe it's just super early morning or super late or something like that. But that was a weird, unnecessary move.
Mm-hmm.
Even just the move itself, like turning to face them, sure, prevent the flank, but like keep them in the center of the table.
Yeah, I think he was just doing the math and figuring like, okay, the Overmaster dies. Let me put something else in their way that they will charge. But then, if he left them where they were and they turned and they were in charge range, then they would just charge that much further towards the scoring
center.
Yeah,
right. But he could have even positioned it in such. He could have positioned it in a way where he was within the 12 inches, but if something charged him in the front, that it was outside of the 12 inches. So he could have actually, even if he made the RevCav relevant by giving them that charge, they still would be outside of the center.
So here's the attacks on the.
Eight more wounds, I think.
Yeah.
Or 10 more wounds.
Everything that hits is going to hurt.
Yep, their defense 4.
And their dash.
He's already on 6s twice.
Yeah, I was going to say they're a high dash, but not that high.
Yeah, dash 22, so double 1s.
Yep. Yeah, that was definitely not a good charge. So they go away.
And he did heal the golem, so yeah, he threw away that.
He did. Yeah, he healed like 4 with the Overmaster.
Oof.
Or the Iron Caster, whatever that guy's called. Iron Caster. Sorry.
And now the rough thing is that the only unit realistically that he'll be able to get with the Enslaved Guardians will be the one that explodes.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it could come down to, if he misses the surge, that half-breed champion, as predicted from the beginning of the game, that 6 attacks.
Yep.
Could be the deciding factor.
Just walks in, smacks the Guardians.
He could turn and walk and try to surge into the Iron Caster, hit it, and then overrun it to the flank of these guys.
Right, but the issue there is then he's got his unit strength out of the center.
True.
Like the grand scheme of things here is that Andrew just has a massive advantage in unit strength.
Actually, could you measure the 12 inches, Mike? Would that be if he flanks and maybe sidesteps he would be in?
So but if he sidesteps, he's putting his golems back in the front again.
Right. So Kris needs to kill those Black Souls on the top right, overrun probably 6, get that flank on the Iron Caster, reform in such a way that he's still in, and it would be a front hindered charge. Ooh.
With 7 wounds already, but then on top of that, the half-breed would come in.
To answer Matt's question, I think from what I had heard about Andrew, he plays Abyssal Dwarves pretty regularly. But, I mean, if you had told me this was a tailored list, absolutely. You have a flying anvil for the Abyssal Dwarves that can tie up unit strength as it's doing in the woods. You have a defense 6 wall with heal 6. You have the Grotesques with the Strider. Yeah, this was this was built for this kind of list.
Yeah, I think last time I played him, I think he had a couple of hordes of grotesques, and I think he likes them a little better than the golems. So he may have swapped 1 for 1 and gone 3 and 1 instead of 2 and 2.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, so he is going to do that charge. Looks like, assuming he can get it. It's going to be pretty tight. Yeah.
Yep.
You should get it.
Yep, he should nick the corner. Yep.
Sounds about right.
Which again, with all, well, it looks like the Soul Snare is facing the wrong way now.
Yeah, what's the Soul Snare doing?
I guess he's going to try to put wounds on the golems.
Oh, so he will try to surge with the...
He's not going to charge... Yeah.
That looks good. Looks like he's got it.
Yeah, I think that misses the dragon and hits the Black Souls.
Yep.
Are they
or
saying that he can't?
Maybe they've decided it doesn't quite touch.
Oh, that looked good to me. I mean, if you're going to count the Shobik one, that looks legit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe we're just going to back up and do it fresh one time.
Yeah, that looks... Oh, that's out.
Okay, so this might actually be out there. Yeah, because they're the plane of his base. Yeah, okay. I don't think he could quite get past the Overmaster.
Oh, that is bad news for Kris.
He might still be trying to work it out. But it doesn't look like the plane coming off his base completely misses the Overmaster's base. That's so close.
Yeah, Overmaster's pretty chunky.
Yeah. I guess the next question would be to see if the Overmaster's centered, but I haven't had enough coffee to squint that close.
Alternatively, just walk forward anyway, because then you could at least force him to take a flank.
Well, and you've got your Cursed High Priest sitting back here with Surge.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you wouldn't drain life, but you could surge.
Yeah.
Although now you don't have any drain life. The monolith, I guess.
At this point, I would just walk him forward, even if he doesn't get the connection. Like, I would just disengage, turn, walk forward, surge with both units. Well, he can't surge with the monolith because he needs that for the Enslaved Guardians, but surge with the Cursed High Priest. If the Black Souls get a flank, it's a hindered flank on 5s and 5s.
Yeah.
And at that point, that's pretty safe for RevCav. And then he can heal them with the Soul Drain. And then the RevCav are back closing in on the center of the table again.
Right, where they need to be. Sure.
Right. Now, he can't do this the way he's got it right now, because he has to end at least an inch away.
Are they looking to see if he...
They're determining if he can make the charge.
Sounds good.
Okay. Nope.
I
don't know if Kris has gotten any of those coin flips.
He has not.
If anything, I would still just disengage, though. I would still just walk forward.
Disengage, pivot, walk.
Waste another turn on this freaking Overmasting.
Yeah, it's at 11 wounds.
It's turn 6.
At this point, that Trooper RevCav are actually probably able to do it. So, you know what? Good on you, Troop. There you go. Stop an inch away, and then just push them forward as fast as you can, and surge. You can't touch. Just. It's okay.
Never mind about asking about the Black Souls moving up. Now that we know that he can't get that flank,
I mean, I still don't like the moving up because there should be out of 12 at the center.
Yep.
Yeah. So like that's my issue. Is it's 3 less unit strength.
It's 3 less unit strength, and they're doing the bonus points as scoring units up to 5. So if you have 5 scoring units, you want them all in the middle at the end of the game for the bonus points.
Right. And it's looking like he could.
All right. Kris is in kind of a tough spot here, but has a good amount of time left on his clock. It's turn 6. He's still got 20 minutes. They did start with 85-minute clocks instead of 80-minute clocks. as recommended, which the TOs said they were fine with people adjusting the clock times, but those were just recommendations, but they did want everyone to play on a clock.
Right.
So that's fine. I think, and Andrew told me before that he hadn't really played UB on a clock before. And I know Kris is not really, or hasn't had an opportunity to play a lot of in-person tournaments, if any. I think he's recently started playing Kings of War, mostly just online. So I'm not sure that he's played more than maybe 1 or 2 games of the clock before either. So they both felt like giving themselves an extra 5-minute padding, just in case.
Shout out to Kris though, for somebody who is relatively new to the tournament scene. He plays really well. The between like positioning of things, and he's a couple coin flips away from being competitive. Just solid player in what isn't the easiest army to use. Okay, so looks like he's going to go for that flank.
Yeah, and Kris actually lives in North Carolina, so he's in my region. So I'm actually I'm really interested in seeing him at some in-person events, because I think a little more experience, and he's going to be a really serious contender for our Masters team in another year or so.
Absolutely.
His early game was really, really, really solid. This late game, things have started falling apart a little bit, and I don't know if that's
Yeah. You didn't have to throw the chariots away for nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and some of that's experience. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that just comes with experience. And as you said, I'll say this for EOD, they are a hard learning curve.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, between that Shobik charge and the chariots, they seem like the kind of army that they're not forgiving to your opponent if they mess up, but they're not forgiving to you if you mess up.
Yep.
Pretty extreme on both sides.
Especially running so many points in, because he's got Monolith, Cursed High Priest, Soul Snare, Rev Champion, who I'm not counting as attacks because, again, they're basically garbage. So he's got over 500 points in units that, I mean, the Monolith scores at least, which is why it's as good as it is.
Looks like he needs 4 successes on Surge and only got 2.
Oh, he's got to rely on the 4 Surge buddy over here.
He needs to. But he gets it.
Oh, he
does get it.
And that does put him into the character.
Oh.
Did they determine that was 3? No, because he only moved 1.5 inches forward, so he's got some space there. But it is the character, so he slides over, and then his forward inch should take him into the flank.
Yeah, all he's got to do is not snake that character.
Yeah,
I will say he does lose the hill bonus, though.
He does.
Because he didn't get the surge the first time.
Yeah.
What I do like about that character, though, is that it's effectively, not only did it contribute the just that minuscule extra surge, but it's keeping those Black Souls out, and a hindered Black Soul charge I don't think picks it up for the game. So
he is effectively a RevCav troop where he is. The benefit of him is like most things in EOD, he's tough, but he just doesn't do much on the offense.
Sure.
So
all right. Soul Snare does 2 wounds to the exploding golem horde and heals the monolith.
Yeah, at this point I think that's the right call. Though I would have liked to have seen it pop the Black Souls, but again, the Black Souls are not where they should be.
Nope.
All right. And then the Cursed High Priest will drain the Black Soul regiments.
Yep.
3 hits. Only 2 hits, I guess, cover.
Rerolling 2, actually, it looks like.
Oh, rerolling 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no cover, because it's Soul Drain.
Oh, it's Soul Drain, right. But only 1. Ugh.
Yep.
Gross.
Only 1 wound.
Yeah.
Would have loved to see.
I love that reroll. Like that does make him decent with Soul Drain.
Yeah.
It's just that he's 170 points.
There's that, yes. And for the abysmal, I'll say it now because it's top of 6. The abysmal shooting on Andrew's part and the abysmal Soul Drain on Kris's part. They're probably thinking that they would have rather had some scoring units right about now.
Yeah. I mean, this is my eternal fight against Cursed High Priest is just it's 170 points that doesn't score.
Yes. Yep.
It's a good support piece, but you
Sure.
gotta have things you can support at the end of the day.
Yeah. Or if what you're supporting is a unit strength 1 idol of
Yeah.
Shobek.
Yeah.
All right,
And,
here we go.
This is it.
Big hero Guardians coming down off the hill,
Yep.
punching
Oh,
an Iron Caster, who is, I think, that's the Hex Caster or the Iron Caster? That's the Hex
Iron
Caster, right? So
Iron Caster. That's
okay.
Does
11,
some
13.
decent.
This one is
Gets him. Nice.
okay.
Now the problem here is that he still needs a turn 7.
Yep.
And even then, I think he still loses because the way he can, or at least, well, if these Black Souls were in the right fucking spot.
Yeah, he could sidestep, but then it's does the half breed take these enslaved guardians with 6 attacks, 3s and 3s?
Well, he's going to get a second wound back this turn, which is neat.
Yeah, he hasn't taken the first one off yet. I hope he remembers to.
Yeah, because that could be really big for him.
Yeah, because at this point in the game, it's easy to start forgetting details like that.
Guys, if that soul drain just one more turn was closer and contributing to this.
Yeah. So the issue here is that, like, he picks up this unit, which is neat, right? But all that Andrew has to do is move his golems forward and pivot. And then even if the enslaved guardians get to him, he can't overrun. He's out of the center. He is guaranteed. This guardian unit is effectively dead for the purpose of scoring. Like, that was a neat trick. It looked cool. It's a big fanfare of like, oh, look at that awesome thing he just pulled off. You know, it's great. But effectively, that unit's out of the game.
Yep.
Unless it gets he needs a turn 8.
Yeah, if his shooting can take off, I guess the soul, he needs to soul drain and kill those golems, and then he will win by 1 unit strength.
Yeah,
the monolith. That's what it comes down to.
Because these guys, this Black Soul regiment, is not where it should be.
No.
Andrew just has this game if they were in the center of the board right now.
Right.
But they're not.
Yeah, he's giving a chance on turn 7 to come back in.
Yeah.
3 wounds, looks like, from the troop in the rear on the Overmaster.
Woo!
Woo! Up to 14.
We finally killed a unit.
Yay!
It took us 6 turns to do it.
1 from the regiment in the front.
So now we need force twice?
And he gets force twice.
Does get it.
Whew.
It only took over 500, just about 500 points plus the soul snare
and all 6 turns.
And all 6 turns.
All 6 turns.
Whew.
Is there a way that he can put them so that 1 can get in? Because I think he walks forward with those.
Nope.
Yeah.
They're too slow. That's the downside of being like. Okay, I don't know if it's clear. Shambling is a downside. You can't march
at times like this when you can't just Hail Mary run to the middle of the table. Yeah.
Yeah. No, admittedly, without Pathfinder, these wouldn't have been marching anyway, even if they were real cav. But
true.
But again, he should not have been fighting that Overmaster.
You mean there's cav that don't take the potion of the caterpillar? You sure? What?
There is.
Oh. Okay.
Direfying Riders.
Yeah, I take mine with Headstrong because I don't want my vampires getting wafered.
Yeah.
I've been playing too long against Keith Randall's brother.
Fun fact.
The Green Lady.
Yeah, that's expected.
Yeah, he's going in.
Because in the rear. Uninspired.
Even if he doesn't kill it, then the Enslaved Guardians pop the unit, it explodes, but the Enslaved Guardians can't get to the center. Now, I don't know if they'll remember that he can't overrun after popping it, because that's the other benefit of the crystal.
Right.
Oh, yeah, good point. Good point.
But then it's...
Is he... Yeah, I guess we can't really measure until the end of the game. I'd say 90% chance those enslaved guardians aren't in, but maybe.
Yeah, he's checking.
Yeah, they're checking now.
Well, read my mind.
Yeah. Looks like they're touching it. It's whether or not they're majority in.
Yeah, no, it would. That's only going to get the top corner of the unit.
Yeah. Yep.
On the angle.
Yep. So they are out for the game. So he needs his soul. He needs his soul snare, and that
Kris needs
that champion to kill those golems to win.
Yeah, he needs a turn 7 first.
Matt, all of your predictions are coming to a head. Will the hindered 5s and 5s?
I like to pretend that I know what I'm doing.
Well, in your backseat driving, it's easy for us, right?
Yeah,
that's right. No real consequences for us. Yeah, even there. Well, I guess maybe if those things get a big old 3-inch step to the right after killing that champ,
they could, in theory, be in. Yeah. Well, on a turn 7, they could definitely do it if they could walk over.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. If they kill it.
And he's not mighty, so they could also just disengage, pivot, and walk forward, and they might be able to clear an inch. They're dwarves, so they're slow, so I don't know if they'll make it out of his reach, but it'd be pretty close. I think they could. I think they could with 4 inches. They could get out of an inch.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Just go ahead and make it academic. Just make it all the way over there. Don't worry about it.
I mean, I guess Kris can get the other Trooper Revcav in with the big surge and potentially put them in the scoring center, but that's only 1 extra unit strength.
Right. And if those golems are still alive, he wins by 1.
Yeah.
But he gets a bonus point, and I think at this point, for Kris, if there's a turn 7, you want to start thinking about grabbing some bonus points.
Yeah. I give props for this enslaved guardian unit doing the things it needed to do.
Right.
But that chariot horde had other things it could have done, like not dying.
Cannon looks like cannon shot on the monolith, which at this point is probably the right call since it's the only scoring unit.
Yep.
Kris has
and he is due. Nope, never mind.
Nope.
For something other than getting a hit with his mortars. Not that. Why would he get a single hit over the course of the game?
Alrighty. Gotta punch some Revcav.
In the woods.
Hindered dwarves running into the forest.
4 hits. 2 wounds. It's about right. Yep. Needs a double 6 effectively.
3 wounds. Yeah, even with a vicious roll. Yeah. No.
But effectively guarantees that all that unit strength is just never going anywhere.
Never.
Yep.
That was really big that he got that 4 up to not have the Revcav regiment.
Be able to charge them, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
What's that, 5 wounds? 4 wounds? It's like 4 wounds, puts him at 10.
Yeah.
And now the champ.
3 hits.
3 hits. He's already looking at a 7 twice, which just went up to not even a twice. So it's now effectively just needs a 4.
Just 4 once, and there's
which
a 6.
Gets it, yeah. And now there is no hope. Unless he gets a super crazy soul drain here.
Yep. He's got to soul drain those golems.
Or if the character, clutch Revcav champ.
Probably both, right?
Yeah.
This is your prediction, Matt. Now he's giving him a flank, so can a soul drain and a character in the flank take out golems on 5 wounds? Uninspired golems, so there's that.
Yeah. He still needs a turn 7 first before we even worry about that.
Sure.
Doesn't get a turn 7, then he is SOL.
Yep, and then that is he wins 3 unit strength to 1.
Yep.
Great time management for these guys, though. They're doing well on their clocks. Plenty of time left. Oh, was that an overrun?
That was probably the
champ.
Overrun on the champ.
Oh, I was like, is that the turn 7?
No, he's still got to do these hindered dwarves.
6 hits is pretty solid. Does 3 though. So needs an 11 twice.
That's the vicious roll, which does not convert.
Yeah.
And a 7.
7, yep.
He's tanky.
All right. So now we're looking for a roll for turn 7.
Yep.
Here it comes.
Or does he move? Edge of your seat, folks. Come on, 1 4 up to go Chris's way. We need a 4 up.
Be the first time this game.
Rolling for 7.
He gets it.
He gets it.
Okay.
And turn 7.
So he needs to Hail Mary. I mean, effectively, the only thing that really matters this is can he get the golems off, and can he not get shut off for his monolith?
Sure. So
Which
big-
may... These guys are just touching the 4-inch. I mean, all this may be irrelevant because he also needs to prevent these dwarves from getting to the center.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he actually can't throw the RevCav champion into the flank. I think he has to just pray for that miraculous soul drain.
Yep. It looks like he is planning on surging them up.
Surge.
Yeah, to get a good...
Well, let's see here. He's got...
Can he sidestep and surge past those dwarves to get into the middle with the RevCav horde or regiment? Because that would be super sneaky.
With a sidestep 4 inches, he's 125 across.
Back up, sidestep.
Do some math here.
Mike's shaking his head, and I trust his. I trust his.
Yeah, I don't think he can get far enough away.
Yeah.
That would be pretty. It's a 4-inch sidestep, though. He possibly could get around him. It's just I just don't think it matters because the amount of surge he has, he would need to spike literally all of his surge, and then I think he still doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like that's definitely the right way to think about it, though, because that's kind of the benefit of EOD is you've got all this maneuverability, so to speak, where you can do that weird kind of Tetris block movement. Where you do the shuffling as opposed to the just changing pace.
And what's so tough for your opponents is that it's turn 7, and as an opponent on the clock, you have to think about, can my opponent surge past me, and things like that.
What? No, don't give the golems a charge. Don't do that.
What is he doing?
No.
I think he's trying to make sure the monolith won't block the RevCav troop when he surges
Right.
them.
But you also need to just you can go a little bit further forward. They're only speed 5, right?
There's 6, I think, right? Golems?
The golems? They may.
Oh no, they are 5. You're right.
Yeah, I was going to say they are golem speed. They are slow.
Okay.
It's the graders, right? That are
The graders are 6. Okay.
Yeah.
If he could go a little bit closer, or I guess where he's positioned it, if they max out the surge, he's probably within 12.
Sure.
Yeah, and they'll be out
And
of
then
arc.
and then he butt touches the monolith, which means that he can't be charged. Actually, the way he's got it looks like they might go past the monolith, but
Yeah,
I think he'll be out of arc. Yeah.
Yeah, they will. They'll be out of arc. And he
Right.
doesn't have any. And Andrew doesn't have any surge casters left.
Yeah, I don't like this though.
This is tough. It's not a good place to be in. But he did get to turn 7, so he gets a chance at least.
I don't know if he does a wound here, that at least makes it so he can't walk through him.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think the dwarves can just pivot and walk forward, and I think they can clear an inch.
Yeah, if I were him, I'd disengage. Well, he's not mighty.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not mighty, but he can position himself, knowing that the dwarves can only walk 4.
Yeah.
Just getting within an inch on the side, they'll have to charge you.
Yeah, I think he should have blocked him. I agree.
Because if he moved it to
5 hits with the soul drain, or is that surge?
Or that's surge from the monolith. So that's 5 out of 8, which is pretty good, but not going to put them in.
Mm-hmm.
Super close though. If you get so if the other guy basically gets any successes on surge, that will probably put them in. Now don't move the monolith.
Here it comes. This is his clutch win. That's a good hit.
5.
5's really good.
5s again.
Yep. 2.
2. Okay.
Needs a 10.
10 once. Are they
I wonder if
dash 18? Dash 17, so 10 ones.
Yep.
So I wonder if they've agreed that the RevCav troop are already in, so he's not going to bother surging with the Cursed High Priest.
Yeah.
Which, if that's the case, well, I guess he's not doing anything else.
Yeah, I mean, he could.
No,
he can.
He's going to do it. Okay, here it comes.
Yeah. Just make sure.
3 more. Yeah, there you go. Now you're totally in.
You can even re-roll.
And I think at this point, right, guys, we would love to see that 170 point caster in the middle of the table, adding another Drain Life 9 to win the game.
Yeah, but it spent way too much time looking at the dragon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is what Kris does to me when we play all the time, is I just throw everything at the wall, spaghetti on the wall against the dragon, and then he wins on scenario.
All right, we are waiting for the big nerve roll on this block of golems. And it looks like it is time.
It comes.
And time, and we need a 10.
Nope.
An 8.
Yep.
8 will not do it.
So effectively, Andrew has it.
Yep. 3-2.
It's just a question of whether or not he can also get the dwarves in.
Yep.
And potentially shoot the monolith off with a super high cannon shot.
He has banked that karma. I don't think any of us would bat an eyelash if we got 6s and 6s.
Finally got 2 hits, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they get the dwarves.
I don't think so either.
Nope. Okay then.
Yep. Remember that time where the Rev champ was
4 wounds.
4 hits and 4 wounds.
All right.
Okay.
You tried so well.
You've been waiting till turn 7. Here's your moment. Go for it.
You wanna
9, 13.
almost waivers them.
Almost waivers, yeah. Well, had we known that he would have rolled like that, we should have put him into the golems. Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow. Although he would have done, 2 wounds. That would have taken.
Still would have done 2 wounds, yeah.
And that would have done it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. There it is.
Now let's see if he. Disengage, pivot, walk forward. 4 inches should clear. Yep.
There it is.
That was the bigger issue, is that he not only needed to kill the golems, he also needed to move the RevCav champ in such a position that the dwarves could not make it to the center.
Right.
But
I wonder if getting the flank would have done that.
With where they were,
I don't think so, but maybe the 1-inch bubble, off of his butt, would have kept them from pivoting.
Yeah, he would have needed to put himself exactly on their side, because they were already really close. You can see the 12-inch here, so they were an inch away from touching it.
Yeah.
This has been a great game. I think 2 good tactical armies.
Yeah. There's not a lot left.
No.
There's not a lot, and Kris got a couple of bad breaks, but has stuck in there.
He has.
Yeah.
Giving yourself a chance to win, even after losing the chariots and losing Shobek early on.
Shobek.
Yeah. Losing Shobek, only getting 1 combat out of him is pretty rough.
Yeah, and his Iron Resolve. Ooh, that aura is awesome.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Understatement of the cast. Did you know that an Iron Resolve aura and a defense 6 character is really good?
On a fearless army.
A lot of defense 5.
Yep. Well, he does get 1 hit. He targeted the RevCav troop instead of the monolith, which, I guess it's a little easier to,
Yeah. At this point, you're hoping to spike something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to snipe whatever's the easiest thing to kill. But it looks like he took the half-breed champ into the Rev champ, so he's just trying to pick up some more points at this point.
Yep.
Here's the dwarves. 5 hits.
A singular wound.
That's going to be 6. Maybe a tall order to get rid of them. On a 7. Nope, they're okay.
You're good. All right, and it brings us to our last combat.
Yep.
All right, Matt, you predicted this is going to happen. Which one is the better? Oh, okay. Why not just hit? That wound.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Why is he hitting with that 3 though?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
There's the correct roll.
Okay. Yeah.
3 wounds.
A shout out to Andrew. It's like 6 a.m. for him right now on Monday. He has played a very clean game where I probably would have fallen asleep with my nose on the H button, drooling into my keyboard.
I think it's like 2 a.m. I think we started at midnight his time.
Okay.
Still.
Oof.
Still pretty good. And that's going to be game.
That is game. Well played by both of them. That was a good one to watch.
Yeah. Do the doors make it? I mean, it only matters for the bonus point, but
Yeah.
it's going to be pretty close.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Awesome job.
We had Chariot Flank, we had Revcav, we had...
Why we're fighting the Overmaster for so long in the woods.
Why?
Yep.
Why? Those 3 unit strength would have mattered in the middle a whole lot right now.
Yeah, they would have. Ooh.
So let's go ahead and get rid of that.
Wait for them to tally up.
Wait for them to do some quick tallying. They might jump on before they do the tallying. They might not. We'll see. Oh, here they come. Hey guys.
Howdy.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back. Thanks so much for letting us watch that. That was a fantastic game.
Cool.
Coming down to the wire there.
Yeah.
You love cheering for the long shot. So we're all over here with our fingers crossed for that nerve roll on the golems on the end to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But congratulations to Andrew on a good, solid, and hard-fought win.
Thank you.
Kris, that was a very well played game on your part. You had some coin flips that you guys decided to dice off, and I think none of them ended up going your way, which happens. A couple of other little things that we wanted to ask you about. But I guess first, one of the observations we had over the course of the game is that both you guys brought some shooting that is generally pretty widely feared in the meta. Abyssal Dwarf heavy mortars and a whole bunch of drain life, and it didn't seem like either of those did a whole lot over the course of the game. Did you guys have to alter your game plans because you figured those would do something, or were you like, I guess we're just going to slog it out then? What do you guys think?
I always look at the mortars as being bonus. I never ever bank on it. I don't go, all right, my theory is mortars will take those things out, so I have to worry about those. I never ever play to that. Anything the mortars do is bonus. So if it doesn't, I shake my head. I might swear a little bit, but it is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I was kind of counting on the priest and the soul snare double teaming that Overmaster.
Yes.
I was counting on them to turn that grind my way a lot sooner.
Yeah.
He walked right into my cavalry, but I couldn't kill it for so many turns. I couldn't get my unit strength back in. So so that for me that was a problem.
Yeah. Now, Kris, in our game that we play, you are always the one baiting me into going up against your stupid dragon and dragging it on for 5 turns. We had a question about that fighting in the woods. It seems like you had a lot of unit strength trapped there, and you're usually the one that does that to me when we play.
Right. Well, again, I counted on functionally drain life 17 to do the heavy lifting up there.
Yeah.
And the terrain plus the life gain from the drain life to keep my units alive for a while. So yeah, his dragon definitely tied me up for longer than I expected. But my usual counter, the other dragon was on the other side, and it just had a nice path of devastation through the lower left. So I couldn't really take it account.
Other dragon did good.
Mm-hmm.
It did.
Yeah.
Good.
We did have a couple of questions that came over the course of the game. One, Kris, somewhere around, I think it was turn 2 or 3, when you finally took off the gargoyles with the Rebcap troop over on the left, you could have walked them forward to get in the way of the grotesques, and you kind of left them where they were, and that opened up a sneaky flank charge onto Shobik in the middle for the grotesque, which took him off the table. Was that a poor Shobik? Yeah, was that does felt like a big turning point in the game, losing Shobik kind of in the top half of the game. Was that a flank charge that you just hadn't seen and weren't expecting?
I didn't see it, and when I backed up my chariot's top left, I had kind of counted on that troop leaving too narrow a space to move through. So if I forward, he would have charged the chariots, which I probably should have just taken, but I didn't see Shobik. So yeah, that was definitely a mistake on my part.
Yeah. If we'd have been playing live on a table, I'd have been looking everywhere else but at Shobik. Like, I'd have been, oh, look over there, there's something happening. Oh, there's something over there too. Trying to make sure he didn't go forwards.
That was
I was doing this at home.
Sure.
Yep, I missed that. I looked ahead and said, okay, he'll get past their charge arc. But then when he was there, I didn't double check it. So
yeah, and then we had a question for Andrew. Trying to see if I can remember what I was talking about in my notes here. In turn 4, you surged some of your golems into the flank of his dragon hindered instead of hitting the enslaved guardians and taking them off, which we thought was an interesting choice. Do you remember why you decided to go that way?
Yes, I do, because that unit of rocks had the pendant on it. So the idea was take his dragon off to get rid of the extra movement, try and bait him into a double charge with the 2 units he had left, and then watch it pop and potentially then just sweep up from there. I knew I was always going to struggle to move things out of the way and still be able to cast. So yeah, hence that final charge that he got on me.
On the flip side of that, to Kris, the chariot charge in the flank, or rather the chariot surge into the flank.
That was a horrible idea.
Yeah.
I backed up and let him hinder charge me and try and shoot through 22 nerve.
Alternatively, and it would have taken some finagling, admittedly. I think there was a shot that you could have gotten an unhindered charge in the front, which actually should have done more damage than the hindered flank charge. And it would have kept the Black Souls and the other Golem unit probably jammed up behind everything else.
I got caught up in how neat it would be. Wow, I can get this crazy flank without running the numbers, and it was a horrible choice. So
Now, gents, unfortunately, I need to scoot. My wife needs some help. So
absolutely,
Andrew.
I'll get in touch with you, Kris, tomorrow just to confirm point scores and stuff, because we haven't done scores.
I'll add them all up and send them.
Beautiful. I'll trust you on that one. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Andrew. Appreciate you staying up late for us.
All righty.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Yep. I didn't really have much else to ask him, so that's good.
Yeah,
and I knew it was going to be like 3 a.m. for him, so I was trying to wrap up anyway.
And not to gang up on Kris, we were very curious. The position, I think Matt actually says it in the recording. He's like, I know that I'm throwing a lot of shade at Kris right now, but I have questions for Andrew. Keeping all of the drain life in the top right, what were your thoughts on that? I know that 17 effective should have went through that half-breed, but towards the end of the game, when you got that really nice soul drain on the golems, what was your thought between leaving all of it up in the top right and moving it down earlier?
I really needed the 4 unit strength up there to come down, so I kept into that to end that combat and get me in. There was a point where he had his dwarves just outside of the forest where he couldn't reach me, and I was hoping to kill it that turn and charge them the next and leapfrog through them towards the center. Never materialized.
I was
afraid he was going to hex me. Huh?
There was a moment, and I didn't know if it was intentional or not, and I wanted to ask. So you had your RevCav regiment to where it killed the gargoyles, turned and faced the Overmaster on the dragon, and then the way you had it was if he charged the RevCav regiment, when they backed up an inch, they'd be able to pivot toward the center of the table and charge the Black Souls in the flank. Was that all set up to do that? Because if that was
genius. Yeah,
clutch.
I did it wrong. I didn't get my angle quite right.
Yeah.
And
he also ended up turning the Black Souls to the center, which I thought was unnecessary, or turned the Black Souls, I guess, to the upper right,
to the side.
If he had stayed in the chat, that was going to be my last question for him. Was just like that. You didn't need to do that. There was no reason for those guys to leave the center.
Right. Yeah, he was giving me a potential path in, and then you saw me trying to finagle that angle.
Yeah.
But with the weapon there, we couldn't see if it was going to contact or not, and I lost the 4+. But the intention was to get away from the dragon, let the troop finish it off in the rear, hopefully, and the drain life, and start moving my way towards the center.
The other potential in that one, and this would have been a bit more of a long shot and also pretty difficult to pull off, was if you had, instead of trying to go for the combat, if you had backed up and turned and moved, I think you could have surged past him. Since you had determined that he wasn't going to connect with that move, you could have positioned it to where he just walked forward, basically, and then thrown all your surge in that RevCav regiment. Sure, he gets a flank with the dwarves, but it's a hindered flank against basically fresh RevCav, and then they can get to the center, which that would have been tricky, but I mean, a lot of things banked on you getting that 7, which definitely helped.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I probably should have done that. So that didn't really.
Yeah.
Kris, one thing we do want to say is that, like, playing this game, it kind of struck us like, oh wow, like, you haven't really played games on the tabletop, and you are playing extremely tight games with an extremely unforgiving army. So, as Mike said, like, he's like, I am really excited that this guy lives in North Carolina. So if you want to move to the Northeast, just know there's plenty of people. We could use you on our Masters team because you played an extremely good game.
Thank you. Who's in North Carolina?
Don't you live in North Carolina?
I am, but who else is?
No, you.
I live in Virginia, so we're in the same region. So we would be on the same Masters team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once there are in-person tournaments, we will likely go to many of the same in-person tournaments because we're in the same region. Yeah.
And you will be a welcome addition, especially with, as Matt was saying, like, it's not a forgiving army, and you play it very well.
Yeah. It is an army that can be, if you get it down right, it can just be a huge, just downhill slog, which is great. But if things start going wrong, it's almost impossible to recover. Hitting on 4s is just the worst.
Yep.
And no crushing on the chariots, which is rough.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So once again, congrats to Andrew for winning. Well fought game, Kris, and good luck at in the remaining rounds of the tournament. Just so everybody knows, we've got one more game scheduled for the second round here, and that's tomorrow evening, starting at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have Adam Ballard versus Kyle Peach, which is table 2 for round 2. So if you're not doing anything, come definitely check that one out. Other than that, I would like to thank Keith and Matt for hanging out with me during the game, and Thomas for giving it a try, but he was having some technical issues, so he had to drop off. And once again, thanks to Kris and Andrew for letting us watch their game. And thanks to everybody at home for watching along with us. We hope you've enjoyed it. So until next time, I'm your host, Mike Atkins, saying you stay safe out there, and we will see you next time on Dash 28 Live.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks. Thank you much.